Good morning. How are you? I managed not to burn my finger. Good morning. How are you? I managed to not burn my finger. Oh, fuck me. Bad, bad day for Betty Bartlett, but not the worst. It ended with a beautiful space. And Jim and Heidi came. Hi, Neil. How are you, darling? Jim and Heidi came, and that was really cool. I love listening to really smart people. I know. Sorry about yesterday. That was a little bit of a meltdown. I probably could have come back. I'm good. My finger is better. It's just tender. It's going to blister, I think. Well, maybe not. It might not blister. Maybe it won't. Maybe, just maybe, all of our homespun whatevers, remedies, fixed my finger. I think that's pretty amazing. Well, thumb. Is a finger a thumb? Is a thumb a finger? Yeah, because you have 5 fingers. Yep. It includes it. Yep. Just checking. Just checking. Hey, if you notice, I have a new guest on the border. Tim Pool has made his appearance because I'm enjoying torturing Tim Pool. Just in my own head. I'm not making any impact with him whatsoever. He doesn't know I exist, but that doesn't matter. That's never mattered. But yeah, I had a lot of stuff we could have gone through yesterday, but we can go through a lot of it today. I think we can. It was an excellent space. I thought it was so nice. I have an all Canadian audience. Oh my god, that's so exciting. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Good morning. Uh-oh, here comes our non-Canadian. That just now we don't have an all Canadian audience. Hi, Gal. How are you? We were just talking about the space. I thought the space was wonderful. That's like my dream. My dream is, yeah, we get to do some fun stuff and lift each other up and stuff like that, which is really what I wanted the beginning of the week to feel like. But I really enjoy it when you guys just go off on your stuff. I really, I really fucking need those. Those actually make me smarter. They make me smarter. So that's why I'd really love to just hear. I know now the demographic. There goes the neighborhood. Here comes the American. Here comes the American. No. Yeah. So now you have your own chuds, Neil. So we can be like we can laugh at Canadians for their own chuddy. You used to be that you didn't have there was a perception that you didn't have any chuds. I know we ruin everything. It's true. It's true. Jesus fucking Christ, I know, but it feels like, well, maybe it's just me, but it feels like I didn't realize that Canada had so many chuds. I should have. I should have. But I didn't realize that. So anyway, crazy. Crazy. But yeah, it was a really good. Chuds were quite thick out west. They're just louder now. Yeah, okay, well, of course, Neil. I mean, I'm being silly, but I think it's absolutely they were probably just they're louder now. I would imagine they have to be. Otherwise, why would everybody be hearing about them? That kind of thing. New Brunswick kicks them in the chuds. What happened in New Brunswick? What happened in New Brunswick? Hi, Carrie. How are you? How you doing, girl? Carrie, were you in the space last night? I think I saw you. If so, I'm so glad. I'm so happy to see you there. Yeah, I know Canada's. I know you're lousy with chuds. I follow one of them. I follow a really horrible one. My thumb is so much better. Oh my God, I think all the home remedies actually really worked. I'm serious. I think that all the put it on ice, wrap it up, spit on it, all the stuff that you guys told me to do yesterday was perfect because it really helped. So thank you so much. Liberals won a majority. I wondered what happened with that vote. Liberals won a majority in New Brunswick provincial elections, booted out the Conservatives. That's fucking amazing. Oh my God. You're a guinea pig on Twitter. Oh, I love that, Carrie. Well, anyway, it was really nice to see you in the space last night. So I'm really glad you came. I thought it was a great space. Lee, good morning. No meetings till this afternoon. Prepping for a trip to Mexico. Yes. Ale. I don't know how to say anything in Spanish. That's very cheery, andale, let's go. Have you listened to those Notebook LM podcasts made from AI that Utah Vedette made for my daily dose? Wild, crazy, so cool. I haven't listened. I saw the run. I thought it was a run of that's amazing. That's such a great accessibility tool, gal. Do you realize that? If he does that, that's makes your work accessible to a bunch of other people. What a nice thing. That's such a great thing. I love that. New Brunswick Premier is a woman too. Oh my God. It's crazy. Well, get ready for meltdowns, because let me tell you, girls just melt down everywhere. That's great news. See, the thing about it is there's a lot of elections that are having really good, really good, you know, like, uh, uh, really good election outcomes in some cases. So I'm glad to hear that. It's so cool. It summarizes the dose in a 10-minute podcast chat. I thought it was just a really good, picking out. I didn't know what was happening. Oh my God, that's fantastic. I love Utah Vedette. What a great account. There's some really great accounts in our world, you know? So many people just lift each other up and, you show up and all that, everyone's so good. Hi, Max. Mexico seems okay with their new Jewish environmental scientist female president. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, listen, Canada has had some really hot stuff going with India. Oh my goodness. That's a kerfuffle and a half, isn't it? All the IDU and the assassination or somethings. I don't know what they're doing. Kidnapping. What are they doing? IDU's killing people in Canada. Indian uh, diplomats being whatever expelled or something. I don't know what he did. Didn't Trudeau kick out some Indian diplomats? I think, and then India kicked. I don't know. Usual. That's that. They don't need that. Come on now, everybody, stop that. Stop this. Stop this aggression. It was so well deserved. You guys really deserve a little bit of a break. I can imagine Trudeau's like, I don't need this fucking shit. I don't need this fucking shit. I didn't need a whole MAGA contingent to rise up against me who are dumb. And I know they're dumb, okay? Because I listen to people like Pat King and the one person I follow, Queenie. And they're dumb. They're just they're stupid. They don't know how things work. So they spin themselves up in this Stephen fucking Harper. Yes. So I follow those guys, and I like to, well, Queenie's not doing so much freedom stuff anymore, but she sometimes is on the ground, and it's mildly interesting to see what grows up around her. But now she's not doing so much of that, so it's far less interesting. But yeah, I don't know which other Canadians am I following. Well, I follow the sex tourist guy, but that's because he used to go to freedom events. But now I think he's back to just sex tourism, and that's also boring. I don't need to watch him walking down a busy street in Thailand or something and talking to girls inappropriately. Not only dumb, but gullible and willfully ignorant. Oh, 100%. No, Max, they stand very strong in their willful ignorance. It's a stance. It's a stance. So, I don't know. It's just a bunch of, there's so many losers. So many losers. I saw names come up in chats last night where I'm like, oh my God. Greg's latest. Yes. What's he doing? What's he doing? I got some stuff to read this morning, but I'm always looking for new stuff. Let's see. Not on my watch. The Dark Brandon Eve election Eve speech. Oh, that we'd like to hear. Oh, so he wrote the speech for, okay. A wide stance, yeah. CTV News interviewed the Indian envoy we threw out, giving him a platform to crap on Canada. Imagine if CNN interviewed the Russian ambassador after the U.S. threw him out. Well, I imagine that CNN might have interviewed Maria Butina, I think. So I think we have the journalists here who are just as fucking pathetic as your journalists. So I'm sorry. Yeah, Stephen Harper is a prick. We agree with that. We agree with that. Are you guys having an election next year? Is that when your election is for prime minister or whatever? How does that work? Hannity or Carlson? Yeah, that's true. Is anyone going to NYC for Greg and LB's live show next week? I haven't heard, but I imagine. Greg said he'd put a little hidden note in there for me, so I got to find it. Okay, well, let's fucking read it. I think we should open our day with a little Greg Oliar. I think that's a fantastic idea. And if you're not subscribed to Greg's Substack, this actually, or whatever, blog, I don't know what these are. They're not really Substacks. Well, I guess his is a Substack. I don't think I can. I just can't get the travel arrangements together. I can't either. Schedule for October 2025. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, I haven't. I'm not going to be able to go. Okay, let me pull this up. Did you see I added Tim Pool to our frame? I did a little Tim Pool head. I'm going to hide him right behind the Kraken. Oh, good. All right, let's read it then. And then I have something else to read. I have the Washington Post article on the whistleblower from the Ukraine impeachment, the guy who started it all. There's a really good article in Washington Post about him yesterday. And so I thought I'd read that. There's a few things, but I want to start. Let's start. They killed a Canadian citizen. Yes, that's right. That's right, Badger. That's why, yeah, the IDU is like, here's the thing. I used to do anti-trafficking work in India. I mean, I wasn't in India, but our program had a huge program in India. And so I know a lot of the people, or I know some people on the ground in India. And when Modi came in, it was horrific. Modi would stop nonprofits from doing their work and make them jump through hoops. Like, it was gross. He is gross. He is standing in the way of people being liberated in his country, in his own country. In his own country. So my opinion of Modi is real bad. Because it was all about power and all about concentrating power. And, I'm not going to let any foreign NGOs work in, but anti-trafficking was the threat. And, it's like you have really big organizations, USAID, you have IJM, International Justice Mission, which, IJM is like the 800-pound gorilla when it comes to, or it was anyway, I don't know if it still is, but it was the big funder in programs in anti-trafficking. So they had a lot of the concentration of money. Hi, Teresa. How are you, darling? Oh, easily. Hello, darling. And what was I saying? The concentration of money. Oh, IJM. but they're Catholic, or not Catholic. They're Christian, like an international justice mission. They're Christian. And so I was always like scratching my head like, God, how do you get away from within a sector like this huge funder, which frankly is a terrible funder. I mean, they do fund a lot, but I don't know, like I think their push is really on missionaries and shit. So I really can't stand it. I don't know. So Modi and I don't get along. He doesn't know me, but he would not like me if he met me. Oh my God. Okay. Are the seats gerrymandered? That's a really good question. That's a really good question. Okay, let's read some Greggy. I'm going to light a joint and read at the same time because I'm so talented. Oh my God. And then we have this. Hold on. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I could have muted for that. I like my little monkey. Hi, Pepper. Modi and Trudeau don't get along either. I side with, fuck yeah. No, Modi's a piece of shit. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. He's a piece of shit for his own people. Has nothing to do with international relations. What part of government covers the underground tunnels? I know there is 1 to 2 towns down from the Civil War we brought slaves north. What part of government covers under... Well, I mean, it has to be the roads, the people who handle the roads, right? Is that what you're asking, or is it something else? Yeah, Modi is awful. He's an awful, 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 awful person. This monkey... Well, of course this monkey's nicer than Modi, because monkeys are nice. Not all monkeys. And then there's... I love this. I used this in a video I just made. I don't know. This is from PBS. I'm not kidding. How is this a Mr. Rogers clip from PBS? What was he doing? I think he's showing people not to use their middle finger. I do. I think he is. But it's from PBS. I'm serious. I'm sorry. I just think it's so funny. Okay. I'm sorry. Weren't you recently in Canada? You're doing the whole continent. Oh, Lee's everywhere. Lee is everywhere. Okay, here we go. La 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 la. Let me just check the YouTubes to make sure we're not missing any good live shit like I always miss. God, I'm always missing everything. I also have an hour of... I know. Yes, that's right. That was Mr. Rogers' After Hours. That's right, Max. God damn it. That's right. You were a scenic artist on the Mr. Rogers show. I keep forgetting that. Oh my God, Max, you are the coolest. You are so cool. Really, seriously. I'm so sad that there's not an opportunity for us to meet. And I know how you hate interpersonal meeting people in person. I just would love to hang out with you and just hear your stories. That's what I would love. Maybe we need a virtual hangout where you just tell stories. Canada and Mexico are under my responsibility for day job, so expected to make 1 trip per year. Back in California in the spring. Fuck yeah. Oh, in Montreal. Montreal. Oh my God, my nose is running. You're gonna kiss a fool. No, I'm not. Okay, wait, sorry. I'm just making sure we don't have anything live. Supreme Court of North Carolina. That's boring. IMF updates. Ooh. International Monetary Fund? Yeah. Sign me up. Let's see here. All this boring people. Boy, got the Young Thug trial, which has been on YouTube as long as I have. Tweeted, the DOJ confirmed their investigated compliments. Oh, really? Oh, okay, great. That's nice. Thank you. Why, thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad he is. Sorry, Canada is in. Oh, sorry. Almost went to California. Oh, yeah, please. I know. Well, and I need to get to Michigan, actually, so I really do want to go to Michigan. I really do. I want to go. Okay, let's see. Who else is on the TVs this morning? Yes, it is. Oh, can we look at this for a second? Wait. I think he's talking about...
Intro, I clicked on it because I haven't played it. It said 23 on it. But this is some video from Ian that was not sped up. This was the eye wall of Ian a couple years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, are you talking about today's
with
movie?
River Road?
No, you're not. Okay.
Shelley, do you remember River Road?
No. Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, let's see. Oh, BRICS Summit? What? PM in Russia for BRICS. Oh, when's that on? 7:30? What time is it? Okay, well, I might put that on for a minute. That sounds terrible and interesting at once. Okay, let's see here. Hold on. I'm coming back. Hold on. Just making sure. The IMF just doesn't sound that interesting. I don't know. King Charles is still alive. Okay, that's good. That's good. Good to know. I don't know what that is. Okay. All right. Nope. Did anybody watch the Tim Pool breakdown yesterday? Did anyone? Was I the only person that watched the Tim Pool breakdown? Because it was pretty interesting. Let me catch up. UP is amazing. I know. Why am I not going there? I need to go there. Let's listen to Bruce Cockburn's Democracy. What's that? Wait until next summer. Yeah, I want to try the summer. I saw where both winners so far had already voted. Where both winners pepper. McFarland said DOJ confirmed they're investigating complaints on Musk's $1 million a day giveaway. Both winners had already voted. Well, I mean, and they're going to a Trump event. Who are they going to vote for? Come on now. Yes, well, I'm going to watch that, but I want to read this first. It's not going to happen for a minute. Yeah, it's not happening for a half hour. So Tim Pool yesterday. Oh, yeah. No, I have some great bug spray, by the way. I'm friend with Bruce Cockburn's wife. Cool! Seats in Canada tended not to be gerrymandered because elections are run by arms-length agencies, legislatures. Well, you know what? That maybe, I mean, I can't imagine we can trust anybody in this country, but okay. That sounds good. All right, let's read this beautiful piece by our beautiful friend Greg Oliar, who is a love. He's a real love. I really love Greg. I really appreciate him. Oh, that's why. Because I'm not touching anything. Coburn. Sorry, Coburn. Cockburn. I'm long overdue for a visit to UP. Lolo comes to Michigan. We're meeting at Pictured Rocks. Yes. Let's do it. Okay. Really. I'm going to read this. Hold on. Not on my watch. The Dark Brandon election eve speech, a transcript of remarks by President Biden in a proposed address to the nation that we would like to hear on November 4th. So this is what Greg imagines that we want to hear if he is a gem. So if we have, a speech from, this is not Biden's speech, but this is what Greg imagineers it to be. The president, my fellow Americans, tomorrow is election day. And while I cannot tell you how to cast your vote, what I can tell you is that this is the most important election in the history of the United States. on Etobicoke. I will be careful. In his first inaugural address as governor of California, Ronald Reagan remarked that for him, participating in the orderly transfer of administrative authority by direction of the people was a solemn and momentous occasion. He marveled at the simple magic of the commonplace routine, which makes it a near miracle to many of the world's inhabitants. This continuing fact that the people, by democratic process, can delegate power and yet retain the custody of it. The new governor went on to say, "Perhaps you and I have lived too long with this miracle to properly be appreciative. Freedom is a fragile thing, and it's never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not ours by way of inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation, for it comes only once to a people. And those in world history who have known freedom and then lost it have never known it again." Ronald Reagan was right that sunshiny Sacramento morning in 1967, and he's even more right today. This, my fellow Americans, is why I'm speaking to you this evening. When the previous occupant of this office says that our real enemy is within, he is not wrong. There are indeed dark forces in our country that seek to undermine the will of the people, to subvert and sabotage the electoral process, to ward off Reagan's simple magic, in the hopes of installing their preferred candidate in the White House. How are they planning to do this? Not through the popular vote, not even through the Electoral College, but through chicanery. And let me tell you, and let me tell them, I will not let that happen. Folks, like it or not, I am your president. That will remain the case until the orderly transfer of power that will happen here in Washington on January 20th, 2025. The most important job the president has is to defend the country from enemies, foreign and domestic, and by God, that's what I aim to do. To those who plot and scheme to thwart the will of the people, to those who intend to end our democracy, to those who seek to break this fragile thing called freedom, I am here to tell you, not on my watch. Not on my watch. And to the rest of you I say, I will fight for our freedom, yours, mine, everyone's, no matter how you vote. I will defend the sacred franchise. Take that to the bank. Our government cannot function without a willingness to compromise. Both parties must work together to reach consensus. We will not always agree. We should not always agree. But compromise is the hallmark of democracy. Even in the years leading up to the Civil War, when members of Congress were fighting with each other physically in the House and Senate chambers, our competing factions were able to compromise. Only when one faction refused to work together in good faith, when that faction would do nothing other than obstruct, only then did the center fail to hold. We are in a similar situation now. For a full generation, one of our two political parties has refused to compromise and has vowed only to thwart the initiatives of the other. The effect on our government has been sclerotic. Congress is slow as molasses, and it shouldn't be, led by the obstructionist faction and hampered by the archaic filibuster. The Senate has refused to vote to confirm presidential appointees, cabinet members, ambassadors, generals, Supreme Court justices. I don't mean that they vote them down. I mean that they don't vote on them at all. They simply refuse. Congress has also refused to bring important bills most people want, to a vote. When this happens, and it's been happening since at least the 90s, the result is that the country is less safe. The American people suffer. Let me say one thing. For all the heated rhetoric, the country is not as divided as it might seem. Most Americans have the same dreams, the same desires, the same goals and aspirations. As I said back in July, let's never lose sight of who we are. Let's remember we are the United States of America. There is nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. I still believe that. I always will. Obstructing the machinery of government to achieve an unpopular result is not how democracy is supposed to work. I mention this because there are, as I said, forces within our country seeking to use this un-American tactic of obstruction to sabotage tomorrow's election. They know that their preferred candidate cannot hope to win the popular vote and will likely lose in the Electoral College as well, so they have hatched elaborate and illicit schemes to circumvent those free and fair election results to get their way. They have openly discussed these schemes, broadcasting them on social media and in some cases, and federal law enforcement has been tracking them. In one scheme, county election officials who don't like the results will simply refuse to certify the vote. This is what my opponent in 2020 sought to do at the congressional level, and what his own vice president, a true patriot, refused to go along with. The new version of that old scheme is a grassroots operation, bottom up rather than top down. County election officials will refuse to certify the vote, so state secretaries of state won't be able to certify the vote, and there is deadlock. In another scheme, the election will be taken away from the will of the people and instead decided by a vote in the House of Representatives, an outcome that hasn't happened in over a century in the U.S. outside of TV shows. But at least the House is somewhat representative of the American people. I don't know if I would agree with that. In yet another scheme, the result will be left for the Supreme Court to decide, and we would have a situation similar to the 2000 election, when Bush v. Gore determined the winner. Folks, there is no institution in the country less representative of the people of this country than the Supreme Court. 9 individuals randomly chosen by whichever president happens to be in office when one of their number dies to keep the job for life. Think about that. Justice Thomas has accepted millions and millions of dollars in bribes from some of our country's wealthiest oligarchs. One of the most corrupt higher officials in the history of this nation, one whose wife is a loud and proud insurrectionist, might determine who succeeds me in 2025. And finally, and most ominously, we have calls for violence. We have calls for assassination of both of the major party candidates. We have calls for a new American Revolution, for a new civil war, for blood in the streets. We have militias armed to the teeth. We have former lieutenant generals leading the call. As President Obama wondered recently, when did this become okay? The answer is it hasn't, and it never will. And I'm here to tell you tonight, I will not sit back and let any of this happen. This I will promise you. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. A moment ago, I mentioned the Supreme Court. Earlier this year, the majority decided to buck the letter in the spirit of the law, upend judicial precedent, and deliberately misread the Constitution in order to rule that presidents of the United States enjoy full immunity from any potential crimes committed during official acts. This was a ruling intended to shield the former president, a literal crook, from his many indictments. But here's the catch. That ruling applies to all presidents, including me. As I also mentioned a moment ago, I am the president until January 20th, like it or not. So, as I explained to you what measures I have taken to safeguard the 2024 election, please bear in mind that I am acting in my official capacity as President of the United States. I would not invoke presidential immunity for any reason other than to protect our democracy. But the enemies of democracy have forced my hand. They want chaos, and I will not allow it. Let me start with this. Obstruction of the vote is nothing less than sedition. It is sedition, period. Disrupting a polling place is sedition. Refusal to certify a fair vote is sedition. 6 individuals in robes overruling the results of a free and fair election to install their preferred candidate is sedition. And as the Proud Boys found out at their January 6 criminal trials, political violence is sedition. Therefore, let it be known tonight that any person who participates in an attempt to subvert the will of the people by contaminating our fair election processes is hereby designated a seditionist. Full stop. I reiterate, any attempt to hamper the vote or sabotage the election process is sedition. Anyone participating in such a scheme is a seditionist, and that participation will be considered a repudiation of your U.S. citizenship and all the protections that conveys. Let me be clear. Those who misguidedly seek to ignite a new civil war will be regarded no differently than the Union regarded Confederates in the actual Civil War. This is not just talk. This is not just empty rhetoric. Folks, I tell you tonight, I have ordered federal marshals, as well as the agents of the Secret Service, the FBI, and the Justice Department, to fan out across the country and keep watch over the polling places. I have done this as an official act. Let this be a warning to the enemies of democracy. If you attempt to subvert, obstruct, tamper with, sabotage, or violate the free and fair results of this election, you will be arrested, you will be arraigned, and you will be held without bail until trial. I don't care if you're a county election official, a state secretary of state, a member of the Senate, or a chief justice of the Supreme Court. You will be detained. Remember that tomorrow. There are laws in this country that prohibit paying cash money for votes. I refer specifically to 8 U.S. Code Section 597, which expressly states that it is illegal to make or offer to make an expenditure to any person either to vote or withhold their vote or to vote for or against any candidate. But for the last month, we have all watched the wealthiest man in the country brazenly flaunt this law, which is a bedrock of our democracy. I don't know how they do it in South Africa, but here in America, we don't allow greedy oligarchs to purchase elections, no matter how many emerald mines their daddy owns or stole. Perhaps because he is an immigrant and quite possibly an illegal one, the creator of the ugliest damn car I've ever seen is not well versed in our legal code. But that is not an excuse. He can't help him. Greg can't help himself. But that is not an excuse. It's not like the guy can't afford lawyers. He's involved in more lawsuits than I can count. Ignorance is not an excuse, and ignorance is certainly not something to be amplified and celebrated on social media. Tonight, federal law enforcement have placed Elon Musk under arrest. Charged him with violating 8 U.S. Code Section 597 and will detain him indefinitely as the INS reviews his immigration status. Let it not be said that my administration is not tough on illegal immigrants. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Our intelligence services tell me that Vladimir Putin is once again attempting to influence the free and fair election. My administration will continue to fight back against Russian disinformation. Earlier this month, in indictments issued by the Department of Justice, we learned that certain popular podcasters and social media influencers were being financed by the Kremlin. Last week, we learned from no less than an authority than the Prime Minister of Canada that a former anchor at Fox News, an entertainment channel and propaganda outfit where too many Americans get their news, is also on Putin's payroll. By the immunity powers vested in me, this is so great. By the immunity powers vested in me by the Supreme Court, I hereby shut down the broadcast channels of every known Kremlin-financed social media personality until the day I leave office. That includes, and I don't know who these people are, but I'm told while their numbers are heavily inflated by inauthentic bot activity, they do have a significant U.S. audience. Jordan Peterson, Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin, and Lauren Southern. As of 8 p.m. tonight, those channels and feeds have all gone dark. Well, I have a bigger list. But anyway. Tucker Carlson, meanwhile, has been placed under arrest for violation of FARA, the Foreign Agents Registration Act, for failing to disclose his fiduciary relationship with Moscow. He, too, will be detained until trial. Kremlin propaganda is not free speech. I repeat, I will not tolerate the dissemination of Russian propaganda. To these Putin mouthpieces and to Vladimir the Puny himself, I say not on my watch. Not on my watch. The metro's still there. The flume is gone, unfortunately. What? Most ominously, there are agents of chaos working to foment violence. Some have openly called for the assassination of the candidates. One of the prime instigators, I'm sad to admit, is a former national security advisor and lieutenant general of the U.S. Army. So he should know damn well there's no place for that in America. Just before I came out to speak tonight, Mike Flynn was placed under arrest. God bless. This is a dream. Placed under arrest by federal law enforcement and charged with seditious conspiracy. Flynn, as you might recall, is a convicted felon who was pardoned by my predecessor in office, the same former president he has openly and repeatedly talked about assassinating. As a precaution, I've also recalled his brother, General Charles Flynn, terminating his command of U.S. Army Pacific. He has been designated for reassignment. This is fake. This is Greg Olear's speech that he wrote for the night before the election for Biden. This is the speech we need to hear. I know, sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. Let's just pretend it's real for a minute. Also arrested in the roundup were some of Mike Flynn's more vocal acolytes, including a creepy political operative named Ivan Raiklin, another weirdo who speaks openly about assassination. Most Americans have never heard of this guy. I know I hadn't, not until he made the news by promising he would serve as Secretary of Retribution. I know. If the former president is reelected, folks, trust me, we don't want this guy as Secretary of anything, much less MAGA revenge. But you can rest easy. Raiklin is now safely in federal custody. We can also announce tonight that the D.C. pipe bomber, the domestic terrorist who planted the bomb outside the DNC in 2020 in what we believe was an attempt to assassinate the VP-elect, has been identified and charged. On July 14th, after the first attempt on the life of the former president, I said, we cannot and must not go down this road in America. We've traveled it before throughout our history. Violence has never been the answer, whether it's members of Congress in both parties being targeted in the shot, or a violent mob attacking the Capitol on January 6th, or a brutal attack on the spouse of a former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, or information and intimidation on election officials, or the kidnapping plot against a sitting governor, or an attempted assassination of my predecessor. There is no place in America for this kind of violence, or for any violence ever. Period. No exceptions. We can't allow this violence to be normalized. And tonight I say, not on my watch. And finally, Roger Stone, the longtime political operative, is in federal custody, held on suspicion of seditious conspiracy. Stone, who, like Mike Flynn, was pardoned by my predecessor, has been caught on tape by an intrepid journalist named Lauren Windsor, who deserves a Medal of Honor, if you ask me, discussing his plans to to subvert the election. He was engaged in similar activity in 2016. For too long, Stone and his and other little men like him have been playing their dark arts for dictators, for the enemies of democracy. No more, Roger. Not on my watch. I've been warned that me authorizing these arrests would give the former president free rein to do the same to his political opponents if he is reelected. So be it. I cannot and will not allow fear of a potential future outcome weaken my resolve to protect our democracy right now, especially if that fear only serves to make future outcome a reality. These arrests have been made as a precaution, but also as an example. Do not doubt me. I swore an oath to defend the Constitution and the American people, and I will continue to do so for the remainder of my time in office. Defy me at your peril. Election Day is an annual celebration. Okay. DOJ win about the January. Oh, cool. Election Day is an annual celebration of our right to self-determination. Whether you intend to cast your vote for the vice president, for the former president, or to throw your vote away on some Kremlin-financed third-party spoiler candidate, I will defend your right to exercise the franchise. Nothing is more important than the right to vote. Enemies of democracy are trying to take that from you, my fellow Americans, and I will not allow that to happen. Whatever the outcome of the free and fair election, whoever prevails, we will accept it and move forward. But first, I must, ensure that the election is fair and free. Our founders declared independence from a king because they rejected tyranny. They refused to live under the iron fist of a tyrant. Remember the words of Patrick Henry, "Give me liberty or give me death." What would Patrick Henry, what would Thomas Jefferson, what would George Washington think of this anti-democratic movement to install a new George III in the White House? Because make no mistake, that is their goal. I call them enemies of democracy because that's literally what they are. Will January 20th be an inauguration of the next president or a coronation of the first king of America? Will there be a red Caesar in the White House, as the neo-reactionary fringe that calls itself the Dark Enlightenment wants? Come the new year, will there be a strongman in the Oval Office? Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. May God bless you, and God continue to bless the United States of America. Now get out there tomorrow and vote. Yeah. Good job. Oh, Greg, that's really good. That's really good. He's good at that. Oh, my God, my nose. I'm going to pretend it's real, too. Let's see. Oh! I think I went to Montreal. No, I think I went in 1974. Then I went somewhere else. I'm going to okay, wait. I know. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Pepper. Well, I saw Pepper. Check my DM. Trump's former Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coates, suspects the GOP candidate is being blackmailed by Putin. Oh. I can't. We've had this conversation before. I'm so fucking sick of fucking books that have all this great information that we didn't know. He thanked you at the bottom. Oh, wait. Where is it? Where's that? Oh, thanks to Gal Suburban. I'm so sorry, Gal. Aw. 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 That's so sweet. I love Greg. I want Greg to have you on more. More, Gal. More, Gal. That's beautiful. Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. Aw. Okay, let me see where I go from here. Let me check tubes. Make sure nothing really exciting happening that we're missing. Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. Mm-mm. I still haven't smoked any weed. I gotta smoke some weed. More gal. Oh, you're recording with him this weekend? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Play Cheetos supply round. What's that? I don't know what that is. What is that? What is that? Oh, there's Trump delivers campaign remarks at a Latino event in Miami right now. Oh, Stuart Scheller. Who the fuck are you? Why, who the fuck are you? Okay, hold on. Let me... I had something in my watch later. Oh, I guess I didn't really have anything. Okay. Never mind. Let me just check one place. How network effects have severed the U.S. electric. Oh, there's a thing up from Dave Troy. Maybe we'll watch that later on. How network effects have severed the U.S. electorate. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. And then I've got some electoral college system stuff too. The pre-election episode, I have to figure out how to be motivated. Oh, well, you can. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Where is the other? Oh. You know, YouTube should have, hey, this is a list of your notifications. You know, if you want to see what you notified yourself on it. Huh? Hello? Ooh, Tom Bolin commented, Lolo, just sent you an email. DOJ has like a task force set up in every district to protect people's civil rights in the voting system. Really, Tom? That's fantastic. That's amazing. Okay, let's see. There's another storm that might happen, so everybody be careful. Wait, what was I wanted to... I guess I didn't want to do that. Did you see Trump in the barber shop talking about going back to the 1890s? Like, dude, you know, the thing about it is like all this push to put him in situations with, you know, like, I'm going to go to a donut shop. I'm going to go work at McDonald's. I'm going to do... It's so... I mean, really, can we just step back and say, this is so incredibly meaningless. Like, beyond meaningless. It's beyond meaningless. I just can't. I can't. Now I want a donut. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Anyway. Maybe I could hold $1 million lottery. That's right. Maybe I should do that. I don't know where I'd get $1 million, but I might. Maybe I could just like pay it back later. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Wait. Hold on. What time is... I got to keep track of the time because... Okay, 7:18. Okay, 7:18. Okay. Oh, you know what? I got some bookmarks. I got bookmarks. Oh, here we go. What's this? Oh, this is a Trump thing. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Never mind. Bookmarks. Okay, can I tell you a little bit about what's happening in hold on. In can we figure out what's going on in Michigan? Cheeto supply rant. I want to hear again. Okay, CF. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. I got it. Okay.
And Republicans, I want to say good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and put this. Let me put this over here. Ah, fuck. Okay, here we go. I got you. I got you, girl. I got you. I'm waking up.
And Republicans, I want to send a message out to Donald Trump himself. Hey, fuckface, how you doing this morning? I want you to know we all see what the fuck you're doing. You couldn't even get a new playbook. That's how unoriginal you fucking are. You got the same exact fucking lies you're spreading. And you know how we know you're fucking losing, Farty McFuckstick? You know how we know? Because the lies keep getting more and more fucking outrageous. And it's the same fucking bullshit you tried to sell to your fucking cult followers last time. You know, the ones that got Ashley Babbitt killed. The patriot from San Diego. The ex-military vet from San Diego who believed all your fucking lies. That brought her down to the Capitol that day because you told her her country was being stolen and she wanted to be a patriot for her president. And you let her march down there and crawl through a window that was bashed out because the door next to it was barricaded because of your fucking lies, you sack of shit. And we see it coming this time. Everybody in the country sees it coming, motherfucker. All of us. You might have your cult fucking followers, you might have them fooled, but you don't have the rest of the country fooled. The only people buying your bullshit are the people who are also buying your gold fucking tennis shoes and your fucking NFTs that don't exist. You fucking grifting piece of shit. You are the worst thing that has ever happened to this fucking country. And in a few weeks, we're gonna send your fucking ass back to the dustbin of history and soon to prison after that. And you know what? We're coming for the rest of you fucking traitor brigade motherfuckers too. Ted Cruz, Jim Jordan, Andy Biggs, Marco Rubio, all you fuckers that continue to push the big lie deuce, the second big lie, which is still the first fucking lie just 4 years later. How many Americans do you think may get killed in this next riot you guys try to fucking stage? Because let me tell you, this time, motherfuckers, we'll be ready for you. And there's gonna be a lot more than one Ashley Babbitt if you guys try to fuck around and find out this time. We know we're fighting for our democracy. You're just fighting for one man so that he can stay the fuck out of prison. Because why? Because Kamala might give you fucking health care? Because you may have to tolerate some gay folks being around you? Because your wife may be able to divorce you if you're a fucking douchebag? Because we want women to have their fucking bodily autonomy, the same rights guaranteed in the Constitution that you and I as men have? That's why you want to fucking fuck around and find out? Well, come get some, motherfuckers, because we're ready for you this time. And I hate to tell you, this time you don't have the presidency. You don't have the power of the presidency to back your stupid traitorous motherfucking asses up. Fucking come get some.
That's a really good point. You know, I hadn't really considered that. I hadn't really considered, like, the fact that the power dynamic is very different. Can't you stop saying fuck? No, I love Michelle Pfeiffer. Scarface. Thank you, CF. Chewini. Yeah, I don't know. That was very good. And the thing about it is it is interesting to think about the fact that this time it's not the same power dynamic. There's not as many insiders. There's certainly still insiders, okay? I think there's enough people inside that tend to slow things down or obstruct or whatever, you know, in ways probably small, but that add up over time. So I think there aren't as many. The power center is different this time, so that's actually an interesting thing to consider because I hadn't really considered that fully. But I agree. I mean, I don't agree that. I mean, I think Ashley Babbitt may have thought she was doing something, you know, really, but she was lost in her fervor for right-wing extremism. So I don't think that she would never be a patriot in my mind because she could have understood what she was looking at and she chose not to. So, and that means, and we know a little bit about her family background and the fact that her brother was arrested and convicted of a hate crime here in San Diego. And all kinds of things. So it's not exactly and of course her mother's a piece of shit, whatever. So I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons Ashley was the way she was. I don't know. I think everyone can convince themselves of a pretty story, that what they're doing is for the right thing. I think that's a normal human reaction, but I do think at one point you have to wake up and say, no, this is not right. And I'm doing something based on a lie. But you know what? Whatever. She's dead, so sucks to suck. You know what? You shouldn't have climbed through the window. In fact, you shouldn't have just walked away, but you didn't. So if you play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes. Hi, SB. You didn't miss much. I mean, we were just going. I read an article. I read Greg Oliar's beautiful Prevail Substack, which I'll link in the description of the video. And then I have to look and see if we've got this BRICS thing. I'm really curious about the BRICS thing. We might watch a little bit of it just to see if it's interesting at all. So you haven't really missed much of anything. Let me see. Is this Rick Scott? Oh, wait. Wait. Let me show you Rick Scott. You're going to hear him in a minute.
So here's in Florida, in many states, here's how you win. Election day is every day until November 5th.
Rick?
We don't want to wait until November 5th to win. We want to win yesterday, today, tomorrow, every day. So in Florida, we have early voting. Let's make sure today we win again.
Please don't stop talking.
And tomorrow we win again.
Don't stop talking because I got to find your little thing.
And then election day, we'll have a big win.
Where are you? Oh, don't leave, Rick.
So
that's the only time I've ever said that.
So the Hispanic vote is the deciding factor. If you want somebody that's going to fight for Latin America, Trump's going to do it.
Really?
So look at what Maria Corina Machado is going through in Venezuela right now. That wouldn't have happened. Maduro was on his way out. All right? You have to really admire her.
Fuck you.
But Maduro, I don't believe, would still be in power if Trump was president. Diaz-Canel, hopefully, would be in the process of getting rid of him. Ortega would be in more trouble. So I want Trump to win. I want him to win badly. I know all of us want him to win badly because we want a better future. So.
Oh, yeah! Did it! Did it!
I just told Alex and everybody I know in Miami, is there anything I need to do to make sure Trump wins? Is there anything I need to do to make sure Republicans win all across the state? I'll do it. We're going to work our butts off
perfectly
from now until November 5th, and then we're going to have a big celebration.
In fact, this edition is the first one with the newer members, which include Saudi Arabia, Iran, Egypt, UAE, etc. Now, BRICS is also being seen primarily now as an anti-West bloc led by the likes of China and Russia. So what is a country like India doing in such a bloc, along with blocs like the SCO, which also India is part of? What are countries like Saudi Arabia and UAE? And remember, these countries are hell-bent against a country like Iran. This is perhaps the only grouping in the world where Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Iran are part of this newest set of members of BRICS. What are they doing together in such a grouping? What is it that binds the BRICS group of countries? All of these are questions that need to be asked. But there's also the interesting prelude to this meeting itself. The Prime Minister had a 1-hour-long bilateral meeting earlier today with the President of Russia. This is the second time he's met with President Putin just in the last 3 months. He is going to have, within the hour, a meeting with the new Iranian President, Mr. Pezeshkian. It's the first time that Prime Minister and the new Iranian President will be meeting. And tomorrow, most likely, and there is a lot of speculation about this, that there will be a meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping of China. If it happens, it will be the first time in 5 years that the leaders of India and China have met. And like I said, the prelude to this meeting is the announcement yesterday that India and China have reached an arrangement for patrolling at the disputed and extremely hostile line of actual control, where hostilities have continued for the better part of the last 4 years. So the question then is, as India sees it, is BRICS a convenient boat to be on at a time when tensions are there between India and its traditional Western partners, whether it is Canada? Certainly that bilateral relationship has taken a nosedive. And even with the United States, with the opening of the charges against a former Indian intelligence official, are things not as rosy as they seem to be? But first, the story of what is happening in Kazan.
Kazan. Here we are in
our role in BRICS as an important voice in the growing debate around the world on multipolarity, on the need for global governance reform.
रूस और यूक्रेन के बीच चल रहे संघर्ष के विषय पर हम लगातार संपर्क में रहे। जैसा मैंने पहले भी कहा है, हमारा मानना है कि समस्याओं का समाधान शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से ही होना चाहिए। शांति और स्थिरता की जल्द से जल्द बहाली का हम पूरी तरह समर्थन करते हैं।
All right, so is it a clear signal by the Modi government, not just to the grouping of BRICS members and the new adjunct members who've joined, but also possibly to some of its Western partners, America included?
Okay.
Ksenia Kondratiyeva is a senior Russian journalist. She'll be joining us in a moment. Andrew K.P. Leung is a China strategist joining us from Hong Kong. Professor Peter Kuznick, Professor of History and Director of Nuclear Studies at the Institute of at the American University. Lieutenant General retired S.L. Narasimhan is adjunct professor with the National Institute of Advanced Studies and served as the Indian Defense Attaché in China, also member of the National Security Advisory Board. And G. Sarthi, former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan, is also joining us. Professor Kuznick, let me start with you first. So earlier today, Prime Minister Modi met with Russian President Putin. Within this hour, he will be meeting with the Iranian president, the new Iranian president, Masoud Pezeshkian. And tomorrow, there is a lot of speculation, great likelihood that there will be a meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping of China. How are these meetings being viewed in Washington, coming as they do at a time when, like I said in my opening intro, it's not exactly a bed of roses what we've seen transpire between India and the United States in the last few weeks, and certainly between India and Canada in the last few months?
Well, we have to look at the global picture right now. The IMF meeting is taking place at the same time, but we've got terrible tensions in 3 hotspots around the world. So the meeting is occurring at a very crucial moment. The Middle East is ready to explode. The situation in Ukraine is going very badly for the Ukrainians, and the tensions in the South China Sea and around Taiwan are still quite palpable. So the fact that this meeting is taking place is not getting a lot of attention in the U.S. media right now, but around the rest of the world, this is major news, and it has effectively eclipsed the IMF meeting, which is very, very unprecedented. So what's emerging is a global rebellion against the hegemony.
Okay, we don't know. I'm not learning anything. I'm learning what their messaging is, and nobody gives a shit. So fuck that. Let's see. Holy shit! Must be Miami. Sorry. Sorry. It's Pitbull. Oh my God. Okay, I just need a minute. Some coffee. No Americans for Trump. That's such a great visual. I can't fucking believe that. Who doesn't love a little Pitbull in the morning? Holy moly. Yikes. Yikes, Mikes. Okay, let's see. Let's see what else we got going on. The BRICS thing is a dud. Fuck. I don't know about the IMF meeting. I can't imagine that's going to be very interesting. I love me some Janet Yellen, but... Oh, what's this? What? Where's that going? Let me go to this. If you've been up all night. Oh, have you been up all night? Oh my God, Jen. Have you really? Did you have like stuff to do at work or something? What happened? Why are you up all night? CBS airs video it obtained in which the head of a North Carolina chapter of the Election Integrity Network. Oh God. Oh my God, no Pitbull. Oh, I see, yeah. Let me see this story that Gal shared. Wait. I'm not very coordinated today. No, don't laugh at me because I mean, oh wait. Yeah, no, I'm gonna actually keep that here. Do 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 do. Wait, where's my? Okay. This is from Gal.
Is underway in several states, including the state of North Carolina, and you may have been hearing claims recently about widespread citizen or voting by non-citizens. These claims are not true. Voting by non-citizens is illegal and vanishingly rare, but those claims are part of a national GOP effort to scrutinize and question voter rolls. It's called Protect the Vote, but Democrats say it's really about sowing confusion. Jan Crawford went to North Carolina for our series Democracy Watch and obtained a video with potentially troubling implications.
Last month, the Republican National Committee's Protect the Vote tour rolled into Raleigh, North Carolina with a message.
Only American citizens can vote.
To find or stop potential illegal voters, Republicans have filed lawsuits across multiple states, including this one in North Carolina, arguing improperly managed voting lists could open the door for significant numbers of non-citizens to vote.
The North Carolina Board of Elections is refusing to take the steps to take illegal immigrants off the voter rolls.
Echoing political message of the Republican nominee.
And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote.
It is a lie. It is a myth.
But Democrats like Juan Perrano, head of the Latino advocacy group LULAC, don't see it that way.
Why would a non-citizen vote?
Latinos are not going to make the trip to the United States and literally put themselves in legal jeopardy by registering to vote and actually voting in an election.
Non-citizens have registered to vote in the past. Since the last election, several states have taken steps to remove thousands of potential illegal voters from their rolls. But officials say the number of non-citizens who've actually cast votes in federal elections is minuscule. North Carolina identified less than 50 in its most recent audit, although that was in 2016.
So usually this is a total non-issue.
We don't believe that there's any proof at all whatsoever that this is a widespread issue. It is illegal to vote if you are a non-citizen.
Don't risk your American dream.
The fight to clean up voter rolls and prevent non-citizens from voting is a focus of conservative election integrity groups who are distributing mailers and hosting in-person events.
They are voters that are most likely to be ineligible or illegal.
Jim Womack is leading a team of more than 1,800 volunteers in North Carolina who are combing through voter rolls to identify what they consider suspicious voters.
And you're trying to come up with county-by-county lists.
It's a list of suspicious voters. Again, not necessarily illegal or ineligible voters, but people that hit our suspicious list.
CBS News obtained a video of Womack discussing how to identify those suspicious voters. We showed it to him to get his explanation.
If you've got folks that that were registered and they're missing information, and they were registered in the last 90 days before the election, and they've got Hispanic-sounding last names, that probably is a suspicious voter.
But why would you single out Hispanic-sounding last names?
In that case, I would have to listen to the full context. The Hispanic-sounding last names certainly is not exclusive. Anyone who is lacking the required information, we certainly would consider them as a suspicious voter. We are trying to find every illegitimate voter and to challenge the ones that shouldn't be voting.
Womack says he expects his group to challenge at most a few hundred voters. Still, activists like Proano question their motives.
If they have to contest these elections, what they're going to go back to is non-citizen voting. They're laying the groundwork now to contest the election in November.
Now, there's no evidence that voting by non-citizens would have any impact on the election. It's just been so rare, and the numbers are too small. But Republicans say that's in past elections, and that's why it's important to stay vigilant. Tony?
Jan, thank you very much.
Oh, brother. That was a really good piece, though. Thank you for sharing that, Gal. You know, this is the thing. The right to vote is literally the most important thing. It really, literally is the most important thing. And it makes me sick to my fucking stomach that there are people thinking they're doing something good, which I don't believe they do. I think they're doing it simply out of racism, bigotry, and bitterness. So I don't give them grace that they think they're doing the right thing by cleaning up voter rolls. Bullshit. Bullshit. They cheer every time they get voter rolls, people taken off voter rolls. And they end up having no actual data to remove those people. It's almost like the state doesn't want to put up with the legal challenge to them, so they just go along with it. That's almost what it feels like. I feel like people should call their Secretary of State's office and say, how many voters have been removed from the rolls in my state? Yeah, we don't want college kids just rolling out of bed and voting. Yeah. Well, remember what Doug Frank talked about at the event that I went to with him, and he said kids from UCLA were getting everyone to get their ballots so that they could take their ballots and vote them. No. So this right to vote, this right to access the vote, this right to have nonpartisan counting and adjudication, and the fact that we have evidence that elections are secure in this country, whether machine or not, they are secure. If you have data that tells me they're not, then you need to bring it. Just email me a link. I'm happy to look at it. But I haven't seen it yet, and I've been looking pretty closely. Of all the people I know, I think I've looked more closely at the actual data. Not that I'm good at it, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's not hard to call bullshit on it. It's not that complicated. They just are based on the fact that people aren't going to ask them for the detail. That's what they hope for. They hope no one's going to ask for the detail. And that's why the court cases and the disbarments are so important, is because that's where it is proven in court that everything they've been saying in their affidavits and everything else are false. Right? Like, everything in their affidavits has been retracted or debunked. Right? Like, literally, that is what it has happened in disbarment after disbarment, in trial, Tina Peters, all the things. Nothing is able to be proven. They don't have anything. And the affidavits are, I saw a truck pull up at 3 a.m. behind the counting center. Well, what the fuck were you doing there at 3 a.m.? Anyway. So yeah, it's just not. I'm waiting, please. I told Doug Frank, come on my show, please. I know I'm little tiny. I don't care. What do you care? So, I need Doug Frank. You come on my show and let's talk about your data. I will have some friends on because there's other people that want to ask you good questions. Well, I think she has. I think Stacey has come out and told her story, and then there's other people kind of telling the story. Can't recall where I saw that. The propaganda feeds the cognitive dissonance and fear and groupthink. It does. I know. Conservative office mates. But problem is you explain, they get it, and 2 days of propaganda later. Yeah. No, I don't know. And you know, some of this is tied to people's worldview, right? Some of their feeling is like, some of their feelings are really around worldview. So I don't know. I'm not really sure how to fix all that. I don't really know. I wish I did. Let's see. I feel like I'm in the 60s movie. Each Blanket Babylon. I don't know. We may not stay here, but I have other things I want to read to you. But we could have something. I love that song. I don't like all like 60s songs all the time, but that one I do like. Yeah, oh God, the right to vote is just so important. We have to vote that in first. We have to. And also, what else was I thinking about? I made a little movie. Hold on, let me go to my little movie. I made a movie yesterday. There's no joy in that room. I know. There is no joy in that room. There's no joy in Mudville. There's just not. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I do have things to watch though, with you, that might be interesting. So we'll kind of keep an eye on this, but maybe not totally stay with it. Okay, that's. Wow. I hate it when Congress is out. I hate it when Congress is out of session. Okay. All right. Open the side panel. And my uterus. Yeah. I'm back black. What? I don't know why they call it that in England. Northern Soul. Oh. Northern Soul. Oh. And in New Zealand? In England and New Zealand? Mandatory voting. Yeah, I'm with Australia too. The live lounge from yesterday is still running? Is that true? That's funny. Oh my God. Can you still hear me? Let me go to my channel. That's crazy. Oh man, I missed something yesterday. God damn it. Oh, you know what? Maybe that thing is actually happening. Hold on. I don't see something running, but that could have happened. I see a 22-minute one. Hold on. Oh, good. Oh, excellent. Oh, excellent. I'm going to Democracy Docket for something. You made me think of something that happened yesterday. What? What? At 10 a.m. ET? What? What courts? What streaming? Oral argument? What? Wait, what? What? 9 a.m. Division 1. What is this? 8th Circuit. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on. What? Bianca Gracia? She probably is. 24/7 Lounge? Really? Is it really, Carrie? That's so weird. Okay, I'm going to have to... I'll check it later, but it shouldn't be running. Okay. Hold on. Wait. So wait. Democracy Docket just... Okay, I'll show you. Well... Are you flipping people off, sir? What's going on in here? Let's do some bad lip reading. Oh, no. Okay. I'm very discombobulated. I'm so sorry. I'm going to stop. Okay, what the fuck is this? Public access number. Why don't you just have a goddamn fucking... Zoom. Why don't you just have a fucking... Why don't you have a YouTube channel? What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with this? This is why states' rights is stupid. It's in waiting. Oh, I know what it is. Oh, shit. I know what it is. It's the thing I wanted to do yesterday that I was just looking for. Hold on. Wow. Let me see if it shows up on there. Oh, wait. It's not probably on their media. Oh. That's just media. That's not that. Wow. You know what? Put your recording. Democracy Docket, I love you so much. Put your recordings on your thing, girl. Okay? Just put your recordings on your thing. It's all right. You already won trivia in the ongoing space? Fantastic. Oh my God. That's amazing. God frickin' frack 'em. I have some choice words for Democracy Docket. Well, damn it. I'll have to find that because there was a thing yesterday. There was a Zoom yesterday, which is the thing that's running right now, that's in waiting for me mode, that the Democracy Docket hosted a panel about elections, obviously, and about the cases. So I really wanted to stream that. I must have flipped out and forgot about it. A bunch of people climbed Half Dome in dino suits. What? How in the world? You went to that Zoom last night? Oh, Chiwini, how was it? Was it worth restreaming? Because I'll find the recording eventually and restream it. Oh my God, look at the maggots. Look at the maggot babies. There's maggot babies. That's really big now. Boy, he's kind of got the groypers. I think MAGA finally has embraced the groypers. Remember how they used to KFAB and kick them out of the CPAC event? I think now it's oh, they're part of the base. Yeah. We love our groypers. Oh, paper. Anyway, more coffee. It was okay. Mostly state officials. Okay, then I'm not going to bother with that. You know what? I know you're working as hard as you can, and you should just keep going to that. You should keep doing that. Just keep doing that. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I get a little with this stuff. What's this? Upcoming events. Oh, well, this is good. Listen to this. This is coming up next Tuesday. The groypers reject them. No. Well, oh, yeah, that's true. They do kind of, don't they? They do kind of. Well, they have another Zoom that I shouldn't forget about next Tuesday. And it's at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. The race to certify what happens after Election Day with Rep. Jamie Raskin and Brian Tyler Cohen. So I think that would actually be a good one. I'll register for that. Let me register for that. Sweet. Pending approval. What? How come it's pending approval? What the hell? What's wrong with you? Yeah, that one sounds like it'd be good. So I'll sign us up for that one. Well, I tried to. They're going to have to approve it. But yeah, no, I think that would be a good one. Let's see what we've got here. No.
Baby, you did me wrong. Well, you done me wrong. So you done me wrong. Well,
good music. We're waking and a bacon. Tom, how are you? I know. I love that Rep Raskin fellow. He is quite sharp. He's quite sharp. It's twine time again here in Boston. No. Here in Miami. I did want to read you. Let me look at my bookmarks because I think there's some good bookmarks. Hold on. I have a lot, actually, because I missed them yesterday because I'm such a fucking idiot. Okay, you know what? I'm going to read you some stuff while we're watching that screen. I can go ahead and, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, anyway, here's something I'm real mad about. Let me show you something I'm real mad about. Hold on. Hold on, I'll show you what I'm mad about. I'm mad about this bullshit. Whoops, okay. I'm really mad about this bullshit. Let me close my bookmarks. This is from the Arizona Mirror yesterday. Cochise County Supervisor Peggy Judd pleads guilty in election certification case and avoids a felony. All sounds great, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound great? Here we go. Mugshots of Cochise County Supervisor Tom Crosby and Supervisor Peggy Judd, taken by Maricopa County. Look how happy they look. I'm so happy. I'm being indicted. I'm tired but got most of my chores done. Have to run out shortly. Oh, it's good to see you, Tom. Thanks for checking in. It's nice to see you. Cochise County Supervisor Peggy Judd has entered a plea deal to avoid a felony after she and another supervisor delayed certifying the 2022 election over fears of non-existent voter fraud in Maricopa County. What? New. DOJ SB is coming in with hot news. DOJ confirms to CBS News it has received an inquiry from former federal prosecutors and GOP appointees to request that the DOJ review punts. Oh. What's punts being made by the Elon-founded America PAC to voters in Pennsylvania? Scott McFarlane. Interesting. I might not have seen it yet, Tom. I'm sorry. I'm not that quick. Payments. Thank you. Got it. Thank you. Well, it's just good news all around, isn't it? Okay, well, here's some more good news. Not really, just kidding. I mean, it is and it isn't. Attorney General Chris Mays announced Monday that Judd entered into the agreement, pleading guilty to refusing to perform the duty of an election. He is a punt. And I could see him punting. Perform the duty of an election officer, a Class 3 misdemeanor. She will be sentenced to unsupervised probation for 90 days and must pay a $500 fine. Which, whatevs. But here we go. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Tom. By avoiding a felony conviction, Judd will be able to retain her right to vote, which, is fine. I'm all for felons being able to vote. And her seat on the Cochise County Board of Supervisors. Now that I'm not okay with. AG Chris Mays. What the fuck? Any attempt to interfere, look at this big grandstanding. Any attempt to interfere with the elections in Arizona will not be tolerated. Well, okay, maybe it will just a little bit. My office will continue to pursue justice and ensure that anyone, if we end up with another fucking weak-ass Arizona case, I'm going to fucking lose my shit. My office will continue to pursue justice and ensure that anyone who undermines our electoral system is held accountable, Mays said in a press release announcing the plea deal. Today's plea agreement and sentencing should serve as a strong reminder that I will not hesitate to use every tool available to uphold the rule of law and protect the integrity of Arizona's elections. Really? Really? Every tool? Every tool? Is that really it? Every tool? Not the one that takes her off of the Board of Supervisors and removes her from any position that would touch an election or influence, like any position of public importance. Judd and fellow Republican Supervisor Tom Crosby were both indicted last year in Maricopa County Superior Court on felony charges of conspiracy and interference with an election officer. GOP county supervisors across the state faced intense pressure not to certify the results of the 2022 election, arrest Ginny Thomas, as unsubstantiated fraud claims were spread by elected officials and right-wing influencers. And that's doing some heavy lifting. Judd and Crosby both voted to delay certification of the election results. And this is for you, Cleta Mitchell. Okay, girl? Nobody's forgotten you got your shitty fucking hands all up in this. So there. She got off easy. She should be trading toilet wine recipes with Tina Peters. Hell yeah, Neil. Hell yeah. Wait, Tom, what did you say? Big smile, big smile. I don't know what that means. That's not justice. That's not justice. Judd and Crosby both voted to delay certification of election results past the date state law requires elections to be canvassed, citing false claims that the ballot tabulators in the county were not properly certified. The lone dissenting vote came from Democrat Ann English. In November 2022, Judd, that bitch, told both the New York Times and the Daily Beast that the delay in certifying the election past the statutory deadline was a form of protest. Against election day problems that happened in Maricopa County. The election was ultimately certified after a judge ordered the supervisors to perform their legal duty, but Cochise ended up being the only county to miss the November 28th certification deadline, putting the majority Republican votes in the county at risk. May's original indictment accused Judd and Crosby of knowingly planning to disobey the law, which was done in public meetings, interfering with Governor Katie Hobbs' ability to complete the statewide canvass by the December 5th deadline. A judge in Pima County last year ordered the two to pay $36,000 in legal fees for the Secretary of State and Arizona Alliance for Retired Americans, who sued the supervisors for failing to certify the election. The Cochise County Board of Supervisors has been a hotbed of conspiracy. Well, she can't flip on anybody. This is the problem. I didn't realize it was all the certifications. Damn. The Cochise County Board of Supervisors has been a hotbed of conspiratorial thinking as they also attempted to hand count ballots. Once again, citing unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud and voting machine manipulation. Fucking hell. Arizona uses all paper ballots, and the only machines are used for disabled voters and counting ballots, neither of which are connected to the internet. I blame the Dutch East India Company, yes. That effort was blocked by a Cochise County Superior Court that said a full hand count was unlawful, and the ruling was confirmed by an Arizona appeals court. Judd did not respond, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's made me mad. That makes me angry. So there. That's the 8th Circuit that somebody was talking about. Buyer. Let's see. Let me close that. Okay, I'll close that down. That's going to also get me in trouble. Oh no, Easley, your phone died. Is your phone okay? I think if you interfere with an election, you shouldn't be able to vote. Yeah, I thought about that, Teresa. I thought about that. I know, right? Let's get ready to rumble, Chewini. I think if I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay with her voting. What? Key suspect in Khashoggi's murder just had his ex account reinstated, John Scott Railton. Really? Oh my God. That's terrible. Oh, this world is getting too hard for things. That's terrible. What the fuck? God, what are we doing? What is this world? I was watching, the last few speeches of Trump have been really disturbing. A lot of violent talk about not allowing Kamala to become president. Very choice words, very specific wording. And it just really is frightening to me. And it's just the signals that he's sending. This is the thing. It's not about, some movie plot or anything. It's about just the normal course of business and the things that happen and how people are inspired to take action because they're very, as you've seen, the maggots are extraordinarily in their feelings. For people who say fuck your feelings, they're very, very feelings based. And they're very, hi Paulina, how are you, darling? It's good to see you. They're very quick to react. And enough of the leftists are demons rhetoric has really gotten seeped in. It's baked into the pie, right? So unfortunately, nobody sees the ingredient for itself. You know, they just see the pie. And it looks good to them. I'm not a fan, but yeah, big smile, big smile. All right, you two. Okay, let's see. Wait, what was I gonna do? Oh yeah. Let's see. Oh God, I was watching. Oh no, I don't want to watch it. No, I don't wanna watch it. I was watching Donald Trump Jr.'s Triggered show. I don't recommend it, really. I really don't. But I was just watching that yesterday, so that was what was teed up. Oh, I wanted to read this. I really wanted to read this. So I'm gonna start reading this while we're watching this. Let me see. Is this? Yeah, perfect. Okay. So this article, Gal sent this yesterday, and I didn't have I freaked out. I couldn't function without my hands. So, but the case against pessimism, the Atlantic article. I still have the thing open with Boo Boo Head when Boo Boo Head comes out, because I would like to listen to what he says. I don't know. Come on over. Okay. But we will start this. The case against pessimism. The West has to believe that democracy will prevail, by Anne Applebaum. Oops. Let me see if I can make it bigger. There we go. This year, the Atlantic staff writer Anne Applebaum was awarded the German Book Trade's Peace Prize for her indispensable contribution to the preservation of democracy. Applebaum is the author of Autocracy, Inc., The Dictators Who Want to Run the World, Red Famine, Stalin's War on Ukraine, Gulag, A History, and other books about dictatorship and democracy. This article is adapted from the acceptance lecture that she delivered today in Frankfurt, which this was on October 20th. All right, are we good? Okay. Save the children. Yeah. When I began working on the history of the Soviet Union in the 1990s, survivors and historians alike were free to speak as they wished. Many of them felt as if a new Russia could be constructed on top of the fundamental historical truths that were emerging. Let me go ahead and just keep an eye on that. That possibility faded. I can even tell you the exact moment when it finally came to an end. The morning of February 20th, 2014, when Russian troops illegally marched across the Crimean Peninsula, which is part of Ukraine. That was the moment when the work of writing Russian history once again became dangerous, because that was the moment when the past and the present collided, when the past became, once again, a blueprint for the present. No historian of tragedy ever wants to look up, turn on the television, and find that their work has come to life. When, in the 1990s, I was researching the history of the Gulag in the Soviet archives, I assumed that the story belonged to the distant past. When, a few later, I wrote about the Soviet assault on Eastern Europe, I also thought that I was describing an era that had ended. And when I studied the history of the Ukrainian famine, the tragedy at the center of Stalin's attempt to eradicate Ukraine as a nation, I did not imagine that this same kind of story could repeat itself in my lifetime. But in 2014, old plans were taken out of the same Soviet archives, dusted off, and put to use once again. The Russian soldiers who spread out across Crimea traveled in unmarked vehicles, wearing uniforms without insignia. They took over government buildings, removed the local leaders, barred them from their offices. For several days afterward, the world was confused. Were these separatists who were staging an uprising? Were they pro-Russian Ukrainians? I was not confused. I knew that this was a Russian invasion of Crimea because it looked exactly like the Soviet invasion of Poland 70 years earlier. In 1944, the invasion featured Soviet soldiers wearing Polish uniforms, a Soviet-backed Communist Party pretending to speak for all Poles, a manipulated referendum, and other acts of political fakery that were designed to confuse not only the people of Poland, but also Poland's allies in London and Washington. After 2014, then again after the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, cruelly familiar patterns repeated themselves. Russian soldiers treated ordinary Ukrainians as enemies and spies. They used random violence to terrorize people. They imprisoned civilians for minor offenses, the tying of a ribbon with Ukrainian colors to a bicycle, for example, or sometimes for no reason at all. They built torture chambers as well as filtration camps, which we could also call concentration camps. They transformed cultural institutions, schools, and universities to suit the nationalist imperialist ideology of the new regime. They kidnapped children, took them to Russia, and changed their identities. They stripped Ukrainians of everything that made them human, and made them vital, and made them unique. In different languages at different times, this kind of assault has had different names. We used to talk about Sovietization. Now we speak of Russification. Paulina, you're so kind. Oh my goodness. Hi, Spinnaker. Oh my gosh. Harry Taco. Jesus. Bonnie. Hey, Bonnie. Kimberly. Barbara's Vibes. Clayburg. Wolf's Den. Chrissy. Tom's Girl. Sure, I see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, Paulina. That's so kind of you. Oh, wait. I'll just give you a little. There we go. I'll give you some magic for that. Thank you. That was very kind of you. That was very generous. Welcome to the fam. Let's see. Where was I? But whatever word. Now we speak of Russification. There is a German word, too, Gleichschaltung. But whatever word you use, the process is the same. I know. It's so nice. It means the imposition of arbitrary autocratic rule, a state without the rule of law, without guaranteed rights, without accountability, without checks and balances. It means the destruction of all stirrings or survivals of signs of the liberal democratic order. That's true. They don't have to be present to win. It means the construction of a totalitarian regime. In Mussolini's famous words, everything within the state, nothing outside the state, nothing against the state. In 2014, Russia was already on the way to becoming a totalitarian society, having launched 2 brutal wars in Chechnya, having murdered journalists and arrested critics. Oh, thank you, Paulina. That's so sweet. But after 2014, that process accelerated. The Russian experience of occupation in Ukraine paved the way for harsher politics inside Russia itself. In the years after the Crimean invasion, the opposition was repressed further. Independent institutions were completely banned. This deep connection between autocracy and imperial wars of conquest has a logic to it. If you truly believe that you and your regime have the right to control all institutions, all information, all organizations, that you can strip people not just of rights but of identity, language, property, life, then of course you also believe that you have the right to inflict violence on whomever you please. Nor will you object to the human cost of such a war. If ordinary people have no rights, no power, no voice, then why should it matter whether they live or die? Oh, I agree. Not that this connection is anything new. 2 centuries ago, Immanuel Kant, whose ideas inspired this prize, also described the link between despotism and war. More than 2 millennia ago, Aristotle wrote that a tyrant is inclined, quote, to foment wars in order to preserve his own monopoly of power. In the 20th century, Karl von Ossietzky, the German journalist and activist, became a fierce opponent of war, not least because of what it was doing to the culture of his own country. As he wrote in 1932, "Nowhere is there as much belief in war as in Germany. Nowhere are people more inclined to overlook its horrors and disregard its consequences. Nowhere is soldiering celebrated more uncritically." Since the invasion of Crimea in 2014, this same militarization, hey Jim, has gripped Russia too. Russian schools now train small children to be soldiers. Russian television encourages Russians to hate Ukrainians, to consider them subhuman. The Russian economy has been militarized. Some 40% of the national budget will now be spent on weapons. To obtain missiles and ammunition, Russia now makes deals with Iran and North Korea, 2 of the most brutal dictatorships on the planet. The constant talk of war in Ukraine has also normalized the idea of war in Russia, making other wars more likely. Russian leaders now speak casually of using nuclear weapons against their other neighbors and regularly threaten to invade them. As in Wojciechowski's Germany, criticism of the war is not merely discouraged in Russia, it is illegal. My friend Vladimir Karamurza made the brave decision in 2022 to return to Russia and to speak out against the invasion from there. Why? Because he wanted the history books to record that someone opposed the war. He paid a very high price. He was arrested. His health deteriorated. He was often kept in isolation. When he and others who had been unjustly imprisoned were finally released in exchange for a group of Russian spies and criminals, including a murderer taken from a German prison, his captors hinted that he should be careful, because in future he might be poisoned. He had reason to believe them. Russian secret policemen had already poisoned him twice. Karamurza was not alone. Since 2018, more than 116,000 Russians have been faced criminal or administrative punishment for speaking their mind. Thousands of them have been punished specifically for objecting to the war in Ukraine. Their heroic battle is mostly carried out in silence. Because the regime has imposed total control on information in Russia, their voices cannot be heard. But what about the rest of us in the democratic world? Our voices are not restrained or restricted. We are not jailed or poisoned for speaking our mind. How should we react to the revival of a form of government that we thought had disappeared from Europe forever? In the early emotional days of the war in Ukraine, many did join the chorus of support. In 2022, as in 2014, Europeans again turned on their televisions to see scenes of a kind they knew only from history books. Women and children huddled at train stations, tanks rolling across fields, bombed out cities. In that moment, many things suddenly felt clear. Words quickly became actions. More than 50 countries joined a coalition to aid Ukraine, militarily and economically, an alliance built at an unprecedented speed. In Kyiv, Odessa, and Kherson, I witnessed the effect of food aid, military aid, and other European support. It felt miraculous. But as the war has continued, doubt has crept in. Since 2014, faith in democratic institutions and alliances has declined dramatically in both Europe and America. Maybe our indifference to the invasion of Crimea played a larger role in this decline than we usually think. The decision to accelerate economic cooperation with Russia after the invasion certainly created both moral and financial corruption, as well as cynicism. That cynicism was then amplified by a Russian disinformation campaign that we dismissed or ignored. Now, faced with the greatest challenge to our values and our interests in our time, the democratic world is starting to wobble. Many wish the fighting in Ukraine would somehow magically stop. Others want to change the subject to the Middle East, another horrific, tragic conflict, but one where Europeans have almost no ability to shape events. A Hobbesian world makes many claims upon our resources of solidarity. A deeper engagement with one tragedy does not denote indifference to other tragedies. We must do what we can where our actions will make a difference. Slowly, another group is gaining traction too, especially in Germany. These are the people who do not support or condemn Vladimir Putin's aggression, but rather pretend to stand above the argument and declare, "I want peace." Some even call for peace by referring solemnly to the lessons of German history. But "I want peace" is not always a moral argument. This is also the right moment to say that the lesson of German history is not that Germans should be pacifists. On the contrary, we have known for nearly a century that a demand for pacifism in the face of an aggressive, advancing dictatorship can simply represent the appeasement and acceptance of that dictatorship. In 1938, the German writer Thomas Mann, then already in exile, horrified by the situation in his country and the complacency of the liberal democracies, denounced the pacifism that brings about war instead of banishing it. During World War II, George Orwell condemned his compatriots who called upon Britain to stop fighting. Pacifism, he wrote, is objectively pro-fascist. This is elementary common sense. If you hamper the war effort on one side, you automatically help that of the other. Oh, I know, it's tough. In 1983, Manes Berber, the recipient of that year's German Peace Prize, also argued against the false morality of his era's pacifists, who at that time wanted to disarm Germany and Europe in the face of the Soviet threat. Anyone, he declared, who believes and wants to make others believe that a Europe without weapons, neutral and capitulating, can ensure peace for the foreseeable future is mistaken and is misleading others. We can use some of these words once again. Many of those in Germany and in Europe who now call for pacifism in the face of the Russian onslaught are indeed objectively pro-Russian, to borrow Orwell's phrase. Their arguments, if followed to the logical conclusion, mean that we should acquiesce to the military conquest of Ukraine, to the cultural destruction of Ukraine, to the construction of concentration camps in Ukraine, to the kidnapping of children in Ukraine. We are nearly 3 years into this war. What would it have meant to plead for peace in Nazi-dominated Europe in early 1942? Let me say it more clearly. Those who advocate pacifism and those who would surrender not just territory but people and principles to Russia have learned nothing at all from the history of the 20th century. The magic of the phrase never again has blinded us to reality before. In the weeks before the invasion in February 2022, Germany, like many other European nations, found war so impossible to imagine that the German government refused to supply Ukraine with weapons. And yet, here is the irony. Had Germany and the rest of NATO supplied Ukraine with those weapons well in advance, maybe we could have deterred the invasion. Maybe it would never have happened. Perhaps the West's failure was, in Thomas Mann's words, again, pacifism that brings about war instead of banishing it. Let me repeat. Mann loathed the war, as well as the regime that promoted it. Orwell hated militarism. Spreber and his family were themselves refugees from war. Yet it was because they hated war with such passion, and because they understood the link between war and dictatorship, that they argued in favor of defending the liberal societies they treasured. We have been here before, which is why the words of our liberal democratic predecessors speak to us. European liberal societies have been confronted by aggressive dictatorships before. We have fought against them before, and we can do so again. And this time, Germany is one of the liberal societies that can lead the fight. To prevent the Russians from spreading their autocratic political system further, we must help the Ukrainians achieve victory, and not only for the sake of Ukraine. If there is even a small chance that military defeat could help end this horrific cult of violence in Russia, just as military defeat once brought an end to the cult of violence in Germany, we should take it. The impact will be felt on our continent and around the world, not just in Ukraine, but in Ukraine's neighbors, in Georgia, in Moldova, in Belarus, and not just in Russia, but among Russia's allies, China, Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea. The challenge is not only military. This is also a battle against hopelessness, against pessimism, and even against the creeping appeal of autocratic rule, which is also sometimes disguised beneath the false language of peace. The idea that autocracy is safe and stable, that democracies cause war, that autocracies protect some form of traditional values while democracies are degenerate, this language is also coming from Russia and the broader autocratic world, as well as from those inside our own societies who are prepared to accept as inevitable the blood and destruction inflicted by the Russian state. Those who accept the erasure of other people's democracies are less likely to fight against the erasure of their own democracy. Complacency, like a virus, moves quickly across borders. The temptation of pessimism is real. In the face of what feels like an endless war and an onslaught of propaganda, it is easier just to accept the idea of decline. But let's remember what's at stake, what the Ukrainians are fighting for, a society, like ours, where independent courts protect people from arbitrary violence, where the rights to thought, speech, and assembly are guaranteed, where citizens are free to engage in public life and are not frightened of the consequences, where security is guaranteed by a broad alliance of democracies and prosperity is anchored by the European Union. Autocrats like the Russian president hate all of these principles because they threaten their power. Independent judges can hold rulers to account. A free press can expose high-level corruption. Hold on. Excuse me. A political system that empowers citizens allows them to change their leaders. International organizations can enforce the rule of law. That is why the propagandists of autocratic regimes will do what they can to undermine the language of liberalism and the institutions that guard our freedoms, to mock them and to belittle them inside their own countries and in ours as well. Supporters of Ukraine are now asking Germany to provide weapons to be used against Russia, an aggressive military power. The true lesson of German history is not that Germans should never fight, but that Germans have a special responsibility to stand up and take risks for freedom. All of us in the democratic world, not just Germans, have been trained to be critical and skeptical of our own leaders and our own societies, so it can feel awkward when we are asked to defend our most fundamental principles. But we can't let skepticism decline into nihilism. In the face of an ugly, aggressive dictatorship in Europe, we in the democratic world are natural comrades. Our principles and ideals and the alliances we have built around them are our most powerful weapons. We must act upon our shared beliefs that the future can be better, that war can be won, that authoritarianism can be defeated once again, that freedom is possible, and that true peace is possible on this continent and around the world. Wow, Ann Applebaum. Speaking of Hitler, no, but I'm bummed. Speaking of Hitler.
At least I know I'm
free and I won't get up to give you a seat, 'cause I hurt my knee and I would not stand up next to you because you look like one of them trans. But I love this land. I don't love everybody. The size of somebody's dick, and here he comes, the orange man. Hi, how you doing? Hi, everybody. How you doing? Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, everybody? How you doing, everybody? Hey, how are you? Give me money on my way out. I love this land. I don't really love this land. Oh, Mercedes Schlapp. Hey, there's big old Mercedes right there. There she is. There's that stupid mayor of something or other. I don't know what the hell. Wait, that looks like the girl that attacked me the other night. That can't be her, though. Dump. Oh, wow. Sweet.
Got so quiet.
Donald Dump. He's trying to look and walk and shake hands like a serious person.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Great honor. I just saw a poll that we're actually leading with Hispanics. That's never happened before. I don't know, but it's going to be close. I mean, she's sleeping right now. She couldn't go on the trail.
What?
You know, you think when you have 14 days left, you wouldn't be sleeping. She's not doing anything today.
That's creepy. How do you know
We've gone
she's sleeping?
52 days in a row. And I'm going 14 more days, and we're going to have a big victory party, hopefully.
14?
And we're going
Isn't that
to turn
past
our
the
country
election?
around. We're going to make it great again, as I say. We're going to make America great again, but we
Bye,
are
Neil. Have a good one.
joined by a lot of
Thank you for
fantastic
coming.
people, a lot of great political people, and it
Oh,
really
wait.
is an
Can
honor
I
to
tell
have
you
at
something,
Doral,
though? Wait,
especially.
hold on.
This has been a very special place.
Hold on. I want to tell you something. Here's my thing. Another thing that he's been saying over and over and over again in the last few weeks is that he in the states where there's early voting, he will make a remark in whatever speech he's in that says he's been told they're ahead in the early vote. Okay? So, hear me out. I just need to say this out loud. Either he just doesn't know how to form a sentence, which is probably really the case. But in my conspiratorial mind, or my mind that, doesn't trust these guys as far as she can throw them, that is he saying, is there some shenanigans going on where someone has access to vote counts, or is there something going on? And this is because I have a problem with Doug Frank and people who infiltrated different county recorders. I'm just saying. I know. And there's no way he could know the vote, I guess. I don't know. I'm just, anyway.
For me, it's been a great success. I want to thank all of the representatives from the Doral area because the mayor and everybody. Where's Christy? Is she around? Let's see.
See, this is the thing. I don't think so, Max. I don't think so,
Oh,
Neil.
my Christy. Boy, oh, boy. Hi, Christy.
Right.
Hi,
they can tell which
You've
absentee.
been so great.
Yeah.
We've
I don't
been
know.
so great, and we
I don't
worked
know.
together for
I'm gonna.
a long time, right? Although
silly.
she's so young, it's not that long. It can't be that long, but it is. 13 years? Wow.
13 years? What?
That's pretty good, yeah, since I bought it. And you've been great.
Oh,
Thank you very
Doral.
much for everything. And we're going to just say a few words. We're going to talk about what's happening with the election. We'll take some questions from the fake news. And we will get on with it. We have a great panel today, and I appreciate it. We have some real religious leaders. They're the most powerful ones on the panel by far, right? Right, Chrissy? They're the most powerful. And look at that gentleman. That's the biggest church I've ever seen.
That's what
in
I
my
thought.
life,
Okay.
right?
He's just saying shit.
When we
out
need
of his
overflow,
head.
we
Okay.
use your
Never mind.
church. And
Ignore
we
me.
get great people in that church, and and you are fantastic. So I want to thank all of the people that have been supporting us for so long and so strongly. We're doing very well. The polls are looking great, and I think maybe more important than even the polls are the initial numbers are looking incredible. You know, in North Carolina, I was there, did 3 stops there actually yesterday, and one quite a way right after this horrible event happened. But in North Carolina, we have
Oh, yeah. He's going to say the same things
an
over
amazing
again.
result going on because we were expected to maybe have 50% of the vote or 30%. Nobody knew what was going to happen. The place was, the people were wiped out. And in some of the worst hit sections, they had more people voting than they had in 2016 or in 2020. Can you believe it? Wow. Nobody expected that. They thought if we got 50%, I mean, you have to see the homes were just absolutely leveled.
So he's
Floated
just
away,
assuming
many
this
of
is
them.
the North
And there
Carolina
was
story.
death.
He's got
There was
other stories
death.
about other states.
And FEMA's responded not well. The White House has done a very poor job. They should be ashamed of themselves, actually. But the people kicked in. Franklin Graham's been fantastic. And
Didn't
we've
people
raised
end
a
up
lot
getting
of money.
charged for the Starlink?
We've raised a lot of money for the area, a lot of money, over $8 million with giving. And we've
Where is
given
that
out to
GoFundMe anyway?
Various people that we know do a good job. I met some people there yesterday that were incredible. A couple of them said the
No, I'm
nicest
not.
things.
Did I miss
think
something?
the nicest, the most beautiful things I've ever had said about me. I thought I heard everything.
No, I'm on live
I've
chat.
heard everything, good and bad. And they said the most beautiful things. So,
Always.
so I just want to thank
It's
them.
intentional.
The words were so beautiful. So Doral Mayor Christy Fraga, and thank you very much.
Oh, she's been
Miami
bad.
Mayor Francis Suarez, wherever Francis
That
is.
dick.
And I just
Fucking dick.
and I just saw him on television. He was on Fox, and he
He's
was
a
saying
dick.
the best things about me. And thank you for everything and the
Well,
endorsement
his
and
tape
all.
must be
Thanks a lot,
amazing.
Francis. You're doing a great job,
Our
too,
government
both
put
of
up
you.
the first 40 Starlinks.
Everybody
oh,
should
really?
have mayors like this. We see some mayors. We see
Hi,
some other mayors that
Carla.
aren't
Thanks
quite
for
as good, I will
stopping
tell you.
in. It's good
And
to
some
see
that
you.
aren't good at all.
Did,
the mayor of Hialeah, Esteban Bobo.
But did we? Oh, right, Tom. We're buckled in.
And you know why I love you is because he named their main street after Trump.
That's fucking weird.
Going right into Hialeah, going into the track, it's Trump. So many people call me.
He raised $9
say,
million
"Thank
and
you,
cut a
man."
check for
They
$2,500.
say, I just saw the most
I gotta look at
beautiful
that.
street. It's got your name on it. And that's sort of one of the first. And I really appreciate it, Mayor. You've been great. Members of Congress, Maria, Elvira, Salazar, thank you. Thank you, Maria, very much. And a friend of mine for a long time, Carlos Jimenez. He's been a friend of mine for a long time.
How long has
And you were also great today, Carlos. I watched you. You got up and you let him have it. You said how bad she is, how good I am. And I said, that's my Carlos. And she is bad. Look, we don't need bad people. We had 4 years of bad, and we're not going to have 4 more years. The country can't survive it. It is amazing, think of it. I said, where is she campaigning today? Sir, she's got a day off. You got 14 days left for the presidency, and she's taking a day off. This is not what you want. This is not what you want. Matt, say hello, Matt, my friend for a long time, huh?
Oh,
a man
did he do
who
something that
has
pissed
been
Putin
incredible. He owns Goya Foods. I eat it whenever I can. So Bob, and everyone knows
Do
it,
they have
but
at
I think you're
McDonald's?
probably
Do they
the
have Goya
most
at
well-known.
McDonald's?
You know, they attacked Bob.
pretty low
he
energy.
announced that he's in favor of Trump. And, you know, the radical left lunatics went crazy. They just went crazy. And they do things that probably are illegal. Probably. I think it's actually illegal. They'll go after companies. They'll go after viciously. They'll never go after your oil company. But they'll go after. You wouldn't stand for it either.
What?
But Bob did something that was amazing. He said, you know, some people fold because they're weak. And they make a mistake in folding. Because once you fold, then they go after you again and again.
Oh,
But Bob
wow,
did it
that's so
different with
weird.
Goya. He was very
I wonder
proud
what
of
in it blocked
and he
it.
went out there and he said, that's right. And
Your
we
chat-
love
the-
Trump.
They know
we love
what
everything
party the return ballots.
Look, they like our policies.
So he's
number
getting
one.
those.
He likes our
Is
policies.
it
Then he
legal
got
for
to
the
like me.
candidate to get
But
reports
he
of
went,
that,
and
Max? Do
everybody
you know?
thought, oh, this would be bad for his business. And his business doubled and then tripled. And then
He will be institutionalized.
I made him a
soon,
lot of
don't
money.
worry. I think he's in Florida.
Because we have tremendous support.
I think Roger's in Florida.
You've been just a great friend for a long time now, right? For a long time. He took some heat at the beginning, but he handled it really incredibly. And whenever I see your food as opposed to some, I
it's
eat
public,
it. It's
okay.
actually quite good out of the can.
Well,
We
then
do
I'm
actually
being
travel
silly.
with cans. You know, people don't know that. We do travel with cans. Anyway, I want to thank you very much. Mario Rodriguez. Mario, thank you. Thank you. Oh. Thank you, Mario. Do you want to say something, Mario? Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, Mr. President, it's amazing what you've done for the Hispanic community, and you are going to be rewarded handsomely for that.
Thank you. Well, we have.
This is insanity.
They've rewarded me already. You know, it actually, this love affair has been going on pretty much from the beginning. Now, 2016, it was a little early, but then I started producing for them, and they produced for the country because the level of genius, entrepreneurship, energy that they have, it's an incredible community. And I liked them, and they liked me, and now they're seeing numbers that are shocking. They're seeing numbers. I saw it this morning. The anchor was almost crying. They said, what's going on over here? It's been a great relationship. Thanks a lot, Mario. Mercedes Schlapp, thank you, Mercedes, very much. Thank you.
I don't see anything
Thank you,
in the
Mercedes.
recent headlines, but let me know.
And a man who's really, he's got it, Pastor Ramiro Pena.
Got you. Got you, Max.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor. Eduardo, thank you very much for being here. Big movie star from Mexico. He's done a great movie. We watched it together, Freedom, and really great. And you're doing another one very soon, I think, on a similar subject, right? That's a very sad subject, but that really did create awareness for a very tough situation. So we appreciate it very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Rick Scott's around someplace. Where's Rick? Hello, Rick. Hi, Rick. I just saw a poll. I saw two things. I saw a very nasty commercial about you, and it was false. I was going to call you, and I said, maybe he's going to be there. Nasty but false commercial. Such a lie. But don't worry, I have a lot of them about me. And it hasn't affected us. But Rick is fantastic. He was a great governor, and he's a great senator. He's a great senator. And the good news is I saw a poll, and you're really doing great. So you're doing really fantastic, Rick. But just keep it going. So this election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of total failure, because what's going on now, we are a nation in decline. We're a failing nation. We're laughed at all over the world. No matter where you go, they laugh at us. They can't even believe what's happening. And I'll tell you what, she's worse than he is. And they do lie. I was just saying to Rick, you know, the lies. They say the exact, I'll have like 10 different things where I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Everybody knows it. The media knows it. They do nothing to change it. And then they come out with a commercial saying exactly the opposite. I mean, things like, I'm in favor of, or let's say they even say it differently, I'm against fracking. That's the first time I've ever heard it. Trump is against fracking. They do things that is just, and she's against fracking, but now she says she's for it. So I've had Hillary, I've had Sleepy Joe, I've had a lot of people that I've run against now. And, you know, on a different scale, I work with senators and trying to get them elected. We're doing very well, the Republicans. I think we could end up, I don't want to use numbers, but we could end up surprisingly good, right, Rick? It could be a number that people would be shocked at if you would have said it even 2 months ago. And I'm helping all of them, every one of them. And we had some great results. We've had some results that are really surprising. But this is the one, this woman is the worst, the lying. It's just unbelievable. Like the IVF, the fertilization. I came out totally in favor of it right from the beginning. She said, I'm against it. Carlos, she goes, he's totally against it. Every single item that having to do with energy, having to do with everything. And then she's got the worst governor in the country, probably the worst. I think she made a horrible mistake. We'll see what happens on November 5th, you know, let's see what happens. But there's something wrong with him, honestly. There's something wrong. And there's something wrong with her, too. She's slow, low IQ, something. I don't know what the hell it is, but they lie. We don't need another low IQ person. We had one for 4 years. We don't need another one. But I mean, crooked Hillary
it might
lied,
be.
but she didn't do it like
Paulina
this.
Meyerhofer, I'm not
mean,
sure,
she wouldn't
Jim.
take things that were so obvious and just say the opposite. They say the exact opposite. And as you know, there are 15 different elements of policy that she changed. She was in favor of sex changes for prisoners at their will, paid for by the government. And now she says, no, I don't think that would be a good idea. She was totally, I mean, when you talk about fracking, she said no fracking under, I mean, we have 25 commercials. Sometimes we put them on simultaneously. She's just, and now all of a sudden, I love fracking. I think it's wonderful. Although today, though, it came out, they had a bad thing come out today. One of her people said she's essentially against fracking. And it's very interesting when that came out. It was sort of a big story. One of her top people said that because that's where they are, Rick. That's where they are. They're against fracking. They're never going to, and they're against anything having to do with what's under the ground. And that's what, you know, Germany just went through it. They almost destroyed themselves. They went into a situation where they were putting windmills all over the place, and the wind wasn't blowing so much. And if they kept that process going, Germany would right now be bust. That's I guess one of the primary reasons that Angela is not there anymore. They tried it. They had solar. They had solar fields that's so big. I mean, I saw a solar field come, and I'm in favor of solar, but it's not the same thing. It's got to fire up these massive plants. It's not going to. But I saw a solar field the other day that looked like it took up half the desert. I'd never saw anything like it. It's all steel and glass and wires, and it looks like hell. And you see rabbits, they get caught in it, and you know, for the environmentalists, it's just terrible. I like, you know, some applications where you have it on a roof or you have it on something, but I'm looking at solar fields that are like miles and miles of just, and what it does to your desert areas or the areas that you're putting, it's just crazy. We have stuff right under the ground. Natural gas, we have things that, we had the cleanest air that we've ever had during my administration, and yet we also had more jobs, more productivity. We had the best numbers we've ever had. We had the lowest taxes we paid in America. So we're in a race, and we're in a race with some very sick people. They're liars. They just lie. They lie about everything. And I was going to hit her really hard on the trail today, but now I don't have to because she's off. She's off. No, I can't get over it. Who the hell takes off? We have 14 days left, and she'll take a couple of more days off, too. You know why? She's lazy as hell, and she's got that reputation. She's a radical left lunatic. She's further left than Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas. Now, Pocahontas Because I think, is Pocahontas further left than Bernie? Just about, right? It's close. It's close. Who the hell cares, right? Rick says, I don't know. But they're out there. But she's the furthest left. We can't have a person. She's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor. By the way, the fake news, look at all of them. Where is the father we should interview? Because I'd find it interesting to see what he has to say. He's, I don't know, they seem to have a problem, but it would be nice to interview the father. He's a Marxist professor. And I think that's okay. That's good, fine. But I think it's appropriate that the father be interviewed by the fake news. They don't want to interview him, and I wonder why. If we had a real press in this country, this wouldn't even be a race. And I'm not sure it is a race anyway. They just came out with the Atlanta Constitution, just came out with a poll that we're 5 up in Georgia. We're up in... And let's see what happens, because it all doesn't matter, because, bad things happen. Some very, very bad things happened last time. But this time we don't have COVID, and it's going to be a lot harder for them to do bad things. So we're going to see. We have tremendous people. We have a lot of lawyers working. We have lawyers working, numbers of lawyers that nobody's ever seen before, because we're not going to play games, because we're going to lose our country. Our country's failing. We don't know what we're doing. We're laughed at all over the world. President Xi thinks we're stupid. Putin thinks we're stupid. That would have never happened. Putin, if I were president, Putin would have never, ever gone into Ukraine. Now we have a number of dead people that's so much greater than what they say. They knocked down an apartment house that's 2 blocks long. They're big buildings in Ukraine, 2 blocks long and 20 stories high, and they say one person was slightly injured. No, many people were killed when they did that. And these towns and cities all over Ukraine are knocked down. Millions of people. I mean, when you look at the total number of dead from that war, and it would have never happened, should have never happened, there was 0 chance. His energy policy also helped it happen, because he drove energy through the roof.
That's Elizabeth Warren. He refers to her as
Look at now, Israel, October 7th, that would have never happened. But
he's very
if Bibi Netanyahu followed the plan of Biden, he didn't want him to do anything. And a bad thing happened today. You probably heard. The press isn't covering it very much, which is just incredible.
She and Putin think you're stupid.
Possibly our Defense Department or somebody. Anyway.
But a good mark.
It was
a little bit of a cash cow.
The entire military plan of Israel. The military plan. The plans they have at the highest level. It was leaked. Highly confidential information. It was leaked by somebody. They have no idea who did it. Can you imagine you're fighting a war and you have your Americans, Carlos, can you imagine anything like that? Did you hear this? They leaked all the information about the way that Israel's going to fight and how they're going to fight and where they're going to go. And somebody, who did that? Can you imagine somebody
What
doing
happened?
That? That's the enemy. I guess that maybe
Did I miss
the enemy
something?
from within, as I talk about. We have an enemy from within. They hate to talk about it. But could you imagine? Could you imagine? So we just can't stand for this incompetence anymore. We are an incompetently run country. We are led by a man that, first of all, look, I'm not a fan of his, but what they did to him was incredible. He had 14 million votes. He won the primary fair and square. He had 14 million votes.
She's on her
and
phone.
They came to him. They said he had a bad debate.
Cute little sweater
he didn't
outfit,
do well,
though.
and his numbers went down. But I think he would do, probably in the end, he might do
Well,
better
yeah,
than her,
so let's
because
get
she's
on that
more
documents
incompetent than he
case.
is. I think she's grossly incompetent. And I don't want to be nice about it, because we can't take a chance. Nobody knows who she is. You say Harris. Her name is Harris. Who the hell is Harris? Nobody, even political people don't know. Rick Scott has no idea who the hell Harris is. No, people don't know who Harris is. But now they're finding out that she's a radical left lunatic, and we can't take a chance on losing this election, because if we lose this election, we may not have a country anymore. We may not, and I've heard this from a lot of very smart
It's actually really cute, little turtleneck action. It's
very
very cute.
straight down the middle. They say, we may never have an election again in this country. This is where we're going. I used to say that if
Kind
we
of like
don't do
fake
something,
Chanel.
we all know what's happened with Venezuela. This was 20 years ago one of the great countries of the world, and now it's
Sorry, Lee, I
troubled,
understand.
to put it mildly.
No problem.
And I said would be Venezuela on steroids, meaning a bigger version. That can happen. Who would think it can happen? But I see it because I see the people that we deal with.
He has his bottom flipper
and
in.
These people they don't love our country. They don't love our country.
Oh, it's from Talbot's? Oh, okay.
About it, but we have to win the
That's
election.
cool. That's
so,
cute.
when they get up and they lie about every single thing, they tell you they know your
I
position.
do not like the
And
big
in my
pearl,
case,
like
it's been my position for many years. One of the
Wilma
people said
Wilma
the other night on
Flintstone
television, he's a great
bracelet,
guy, Jesse,
the Betty Rubble
Jesse Waters,
bracelet
he
she's
said,
got on. I'm not
whether you
digging
like
that.
Trump or not,
Because you know what
his
you're doing? That
position's
tells
been
me
the
you're
same
not
for
typing
30
all day.
years. I mean, it's been the same. I want strong borders. I don't want foreign countries to rip us off, Max. We're being ripped off by everybody, and our friends do it worse than our enemies.
Don't listen, Lee. Don't listen.
Incredible. We had that very well
I think he thinks
going,
he's in a
and,
nursing home,
we did
actually.
a good job on that, but we're going to do the ultimate job. We're going to bring a lot of those jobs back.
Are
We're gonna
we?
bring, I
Why
think we're
didn't
gonna
you the
bring more
first
than
time?
we lost
Can we
back,
talk about
and
why
it's
you?
going to happen
Never
very
mind.
fast through intelligent taxation.
Guess what? This guy is a
tariffs, and
fucking
incentives,
felon
and you're going to
who
have companies pouring into our
has
country, and they're
shared
going to be very happy. I think
national
that's why I'm doing
security
so well in
secrets
Michigan.
with other
That's why the auto
governments that
workers
don't like us.
Trump so much. Their union head is a stiff. He's a total stiff. He has no clue. He has no clue. He wants to go all electric. And
He's out
all
on bail.
electric
Yes,
cars,
this man's
they
out
wanna
on
have
bail.
all electric cars, and they're wonderful. I think they're great. They have an application, but we want gasoline-propelled cars. We want
Jesus.
hybrids. We don't want hydrogen, Max, because they
doesn't
blow
know.
up and you are no longer recognizable, Max. This guy owns more gas stations than any guy. He owns so
really?
many gas stations, he doesn't know what to do with them, right? But and he's a great American too, by the way.
He's a great donor.
Started
I
with
mean,
nothing, and he's
American.
a very successful man. And he's a great man.
I don't see
So I
anything
just
about
wanna
Putin
thank-
being mad recently.
So I
That
just want to thank you
dumpy
all.
dump.
We can't play games with these people. These
Okay,
are
what are we
people
doing on the
that are
panel?
dangerous
Are you taking
people.
questions?
And
Because
again,
I'm not interested in your diatribe.
Hillary and Biden. Biden didn't tell the truth very much, but he was much better than this one. This one is just an outright.
This one.
I've never seen anything
What the hell are you
like it.
talking about?
Point after point after point, and then they do ads and they just say
I'm
this
gonna make
stuff.
him like her
And I
pet.
just wonder. I hope the public is understanding it. I hope, because I found the public to be amazingly smart. They get it. I found it to be amazing that they get it. But the level of lying is just incredible. I mean, to a point where
Oh,
I
it
can't
was
even imagine
good,
it's
wasn't it,
legal.
Oren?
I was asking
Oh,
some of
thank
these lawyers,
you.
some
It's
of
good
the
to
top
be
guys. I
seen
said,
and be
can
back
they
and see
absolutely,
you.
2
Thanks
weeks
for
before
coming
election,
last
go
night.
out
That
and
was
do
a
an ad
great one.
where
Are you out,
every one of
Oren?
your policies are the
Are you
exact
out of here,
opposite.
lady?
Isn't that election interference, and isn't that fraud? And isn't there a court that can do something about that? But the end result is, we could
I know,
talk
this is
about it
hard.
here.
I
and
know it's
people
hard to
can
listen to
and
this
they
stuff
understand
sometimes.
it. I think
We'll
they
just talk
understand
over
it.
'em.
So maybe what we'll do is
I
we'll
know,
go
it
around,
really
take
becomes
couple
just
of
like a
questions,
a massive
have a little fun, okay? It's an honor to be with everybody,
sewer
and
leak.
especially this great
Listening,
Hispanic
getting ready. Yeah, girl.
community.
All right, we're here
Okay?
for
Thank you very much.
Oh, good. No, somebody stopped him. Can we have a
It
mic?
was such an honor to work for you at the White House all 4 years, and I got a front row seat of how much you
Oops.
cared about the Latino community, and you delivered results, and you didn't pander to us. You gave us opportunity, and that's what we want. We want
just
the
gonna
American
cover
dream.
myself here.
My mother was born in Mexico, my dad was born in Brooklyn with very humble means, and they worked very hard and achieved the American dream. So that's
I know. How
what
come?
other country
His
did
fry
a little
pan.
girl from East LA make it to the White House to work for President Trump?
You could have chosen a better gig. Sorry, honey. Oh, look, let's put them right together. Hi. Hi, bud.
And that
Hi,
dream is
bestie.
achievable through jobs. And we care, like all Americans, about the
What is
number
she-
one
what'd she
issue,
do?
and that's jobs and the economy. And we have some amazing
I guess she wants
business
another
owners
job.
here, sir, that want to tell you about
Schlapp
how
is
it was
there.
under your
I
administration
don't see her on
and what
screen.
the
She's got
trouble
a
they're
purple
having.
dress
And so
on.
we have Joel Garza, who's here, who owns
That's not
many
Mercedes.
Sonic franchises, among many other things. He's an entrepreneur.
Oh,
And
Sonic.
so, Joel, why
Good
don't
to
you tell
know.
the president
Good
and
morning,
everybody here
Michael
about what
Haynes.
you're
How are you,
experiencing?
darling?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
We're listening to crap.
Taking the time to be with
Crap
us today.
Tuesday.
It's been the last 3.5 years, the worst years for businesses. Inflation, interest rates with banks, prices, everything, you know, is nothing compared to 2017 to 20, when you were, you know, at the White House. And my biggest issue is gonna be, it's easy to destroy what you build, but I don't think it's enough time for you in 4 years to rebuild again what these people destroy. I live in the city of Houston. In the last 2 years, 30% increase in property taxes. And we got a great governor. Governor Abbott, he's a great guy.
What?
Great guy, but we need your help.
Wait,
as
what?
soon as possible. We need you help.
You're
us with
blaming
banks to stop
Biden for your
regulation.
state
It's
property
so
tax
difficult right now
raises
to
in
create more
Texas?
jobs.
I think we're going to get
You
it going
fucking
very quickly,
moron.
actually. I think it's a lot of time, and we have some very good foundation.
fucking
we have,
moron.
as an example, the tax bill that we passed. We gave you the biggest cut in taxes in the history of the country. Bigger than the Reagan cuts.
Probably, Orrin.
And all of that stuff, it's going to be very hard for them to give it up. I can't imagine politically that it would be possible. It would be a disaster for the country if that could lead to a depression, frankly, if they gave that up. But we have a great foundation to build on, and we're going to have things. So we're going to have a lot of companies coming in very fast. And I know your area does have some problems, incredibly. People don't talk about that, but they do. But most areas have problems because the policies of this administration, they don't even have a policy. They're like, they don't have a policy. There's nothing. They don't have anything. They don't know what they're doing.
They do have
I mean,
a policy.
think of it. They want to go to all electric cars, the whole
No, they
thing
don't.
electric. They need
No, they
$9 trillion.
don't. We listened to a really great hearing about
He owns
the move to
gasoline
electric.
stuff, and to do a charging station, and they built 8 charging stations up in the Midwest someplace. They spent $9 billion.
Give me a break.
I kid you not.
No, you are
On 8
kidding.
you
You're
know what
lying.
that is? A charging
You're
station
not
is
kidding.
like a
You're
gas
lying.
pump. It's the equivalent of a gas pump. They spent $9
That's
billion
not. This cannot be
for 8
true. I
charging
will. I
stations.
want a receipt.
So if you look at it
anyway,
that way, if
so
you
he's
did the
lying.
whole country, you would
Whatevs.
have spent $30 trillion, okay?
Okay.
Which is more than the country, which is every country in the world. It's so
God,
out
he's
of
the
control.
dumbest.
It's
His
so
enabler
horrible.
literally
And
built
they don't want to
electric
change. The truckers came in to see me.
His
The truckers
major
are
funder,
great.
literally.
They have trucks that can go from New York
His
to
largest
Los
donor
Angeles on a tank
literally
of
builds
diesel
fucking
fuel.
electric vehicles.
And they came in almost crying. They said, "These people are crazy."
I'm watching
They
this in
want
the
us to go
kitchen,
to
and my wife has the
electric
day off,
trucks.
and she stopped dead in her
And the
tracks
problem
and
is they
said,
don't go
"What the
far. They'd
heck
have
are
to
you
stop
on?"
6 times.
Hello,
I mean, you talk
Mrs.
about
Jim,
no
Mrs.
deliveries.
Malgren.
They have to stop 6 times.
You're.
They're 2.5 times
so
heavier
glad
than
you're here.
gasoline
Sorry.
or diesel. So the truck would weigh 2.5.
Wasn't the
I said, well,
target?
that
I
could
don't
be
know.
a problem, right? Yes, you'd
And
have
fine.
to rebuild
We
every
had we
bridge
heard
in
a
the
really
United
good
States
hearing
because
about
they
the
can't.
electric
What do you think of that,
industry.
Carlos?
We heard
So
a
now
very
if you're
good
a child,
hearing
you
about
say,
it.
okay, that
Hi,
doesn't
darling,
work. You know,
peace,
those
love.
two
How you
things,
doing?
right?
Good to see you.
It doesn't go far. And the other thing, third thing is they'd have to use half of the capacity for the
Yeah,
battery.
see,
'cause
I
the
know.
battery
This is all
takes
the
up
same old
tremendous
hits.
amounts
These
of
are
room,
the
much more than a
greatest hits.
a load of
The greatest
diesel
shits.
fuel. Which
Crying
is,
people,
you know, something.
sir.
And by the way, even little things, I
Okay,
give you
Tom.
little boring facts.
People in
As the
North
truck
Carolina are
goes,
not
the
happy.
fuel
They
gets
had to
lighter,
cancel
the
appointments and
battery
were
stays
very,
the
very
same
inconvenienced because
so
of
it's
him,
massively
his
heavy,
photo op.
and
Ugh.
it takes up
He
about
doesn't.
50%
Oh my
of the
God,
area
that's
that you're
his
supposed to
most
use to
mythical
transport.
thing about
so
him.
it doesn't work. So normally what you do is say,
Is there a SCOTUS
all right,
thing? Oh my
after
gosh,
about-
I'm gonna look.
Would you say 3 minutes, Carlos? 3 minutes. You'd say,
3
okay,
minutes, would you
let's
say
get
3
onto the next.
minutes,
That doesn't
Carlos?
work. They say, we
Would
don't
you?
care. We want you to do it. And these truckers are beside themselves. They're going to be forced to do electric trucks. They're not going to work. Maybe someday in the future. I don't know. Maybe someday, but it's possible it'll never work because it's so crazy. But think of it, just the weight or the distance. They don't go far. The cost is astronomical. And these guys are going to be all put out of business. You're not going to have any truckers. And they say,
no truckers.
we
They're all
don't
gonna
care.
quit.
Build it. That's
all
what
gonna
we
go
want.
blar.
We want all
Quit. We
electric
quit.
trucks.
Oops.
Soon, like you give them such a short period of time. These are big.
Really?
One gentleman
Did
had 29,000 trucks, and he said to me, you know, I've been buying trucks for 50 years, and every damn year they got better and bigger and stronger and more efficient. Every single year, and then we build the cabs. We build apartments at the back of those trucks. And I'll tell you, sir, I know you like luxury. You'd be proud to live in one of those trucks. See, I don't know about that. I might be. Who knows? Who knows? And I think he meant it, actually. But he said, you'd be proud, you know, in the cab they built like the place for them to sleep and stay. He said, some of those things are so beautiful. But he said, every year for 50 years it got better. And if we had to go to electric, we would go back more than 50. We'd go back to 60 years. It would be worse than the truck from 50 years ago. Doesn't work. So what you say is it doesn't work. But they want to force it down your throat. Look at the case of Los Angeles and California. They have brownouts and blackouts all the time.
We do not.
And they want to go all electric.
We do not.
They don't have enough electric for themselves. They want to go all electric.
Not this year.
One of the worst governors.
Okay.
And by the way, she,
that's a PG&E
as the
problem.
Attorney General, helped destroy the state of California.
So shut up.
And she destroyed.
You're
Probably.
No, she didn't.
She destroyed
no,
probably.
She didn't. All the tech bros destroyed California.
She destroyed probably
Get it right.
the best, maybe the best
Get
city
it
in
right.
the world. I mean, San Francisco was one of the greatest cities. A friend of mine, Bob Tisch, used to say
mister.
That's the best
That's a bunch of
city that he's ever been.
malarkey.
He was in many cities, the great Bob Tisch. And he said San Francisco was the best city in the United States. And now it's horrible. You know, I own property there, and it's very costly every time I do this, but I don't care.
I can't wait till he has to sell everything he owns.
I hurt the value of my property
pause the construction of his
tremendously when I say
gigafactory in
this, but
Monterey,
it's almost
Mexico until after
unlivable
the
now.
election. Oh,
With
brother.
the crime and all of the things that are happening. And the only thing I would disagree with you on is that the economy is very important. I actually think that the biggest thing is the border, because the border is destroying our country. It's very destroying.
I don't see.
I think the economy is bad,
any oral
but I think
arguments.
and it's made really bad by the horrible inflation that was caused. The inflation is really the biggest problem. But I really believe that even the inflation,
see
and that's
anything.
a country destroyer, it's a country buster.
Yeah,
they
keep my
call
state
it,
out of your
inflation.
motherfucking mouth.
But I really think
Nobody
that the
likes
biggest
you.
problem this country has is what they've
Only the
allowed
dumb
to happen
people.
to
There's
us
plenty
on
of
the border.
those, but whatever.
They've allowed our country to be destroyed. They're allowing thousands of murderers and drug dealers and terrorists and people from mental institutions. They're emptying out their jails into our country.
I know. I am going to be
They're
so
emptying
glad,
out their
Teresa.
jails.
There's
And
going
by
to
the
come
way,
a
their
time.
crime rates
Guess
all
what?
over the world are going down.
Everything
There are
dies.
many people now coming
Everything
from the Congo
dies.
in Africa. It's
Okay,
not just.
there will come a
you think
time
about
when
South
he is
America,
not
they're emptying out
able
their
to be
jails in the
heard.
Congo, and they're delivering them to the border, and they're saying, "Congratulations, here's America," and we have 21 million people at least over the last
No,
little
we
while. And
don't.
if they
Your
got
own
in, they're
numbers
gonna have
don't even
open
say
borders
21.
100%,
And
just
those
like
are
they tried to
multiple
trick
people. Those are
everybody.
not unique
They said
crossings.
they
Oh
tried
my
to tighten it up
God.
a little
Nobody
bit just
knows
to
how
make,
data
because they have an
works.
election coming up.
This is the
It didn't
problem,
work
people.
much,
He
but they forgot to tell you
helped
that they
build this.
continue to
He's not
fly
smart
big,
enough to build
beautiful
anything
Boeing
himself.
jets
He
over
helped
right
build
over
the
the border
fact that
with
people
hundreds
now
of thousands
can't
of illegal migrants
handle data.
landing
I'm turning him down.
Midwest and other
You can
places.
read the things
They
if you
forgot to
can't hear
stop
it.
those planes coming in.
But
thought
I'm
they
going
were
to
gonna
tell
put
you
a
right
little bit of a
now,
show
he
on the
is,
border and they
his
could show
Congo
something. They
line.
didn't do
Oh
it.
my God.
I think it's the single biggest
Oh,
problem
where'd you
because
come from?
our
I come from the
country is
Congo,
loaded up
sir.
right now
Oh,
with
what did you do
murderers
there? I was
and
in
with
jail,
and
sir.
seriously ill
Bullshit.
people from mental institutions. And
Bullshit.
those mental institutions are empty. And
They're
those
not.
jails are becoming empty.
And
countries
they're
are down
not.
60, 70, and 80% in crime.
That's not
And
true
we're going
either.
through the roof with crime.
That's
When
not
she
true.
said,
There's
"No,
no
the migrants
statistics
don't
other
commit
than
crime."
bullshit
These migrants are
propaganda.
the criminals that they're allowing in are tougher than any criminal there is. The only good
That's
thing
not
about it is
true.
they make our criminals look like nice people.
That's not true.
These
Okay,
are
we get it.
ruthless, horrible people.
Blah,
I'd like
blah,
to
blah.
ask
Look at the
Max
guy
to say a
behind
few
him.
words,
I'm
'cause
laughing.
he gets it from the standpoint of where he
The
was
two guys
born.
wore the
He
same
grew up
color
in a
suit
system,
as
and I've
him.
seen him
This
speak
looks
very
like a
beautifully on
fucking,
the subject of what's
what is
happening
that?
to our country.
Clockwork Orange, where they all dress alike.
Thank you, Mr. President.
They're eating all our beautiful asylum. They're taking all the beans, all the Goya.
Make it very brief. Okay, I just want to start by saying,
Oh,
drill,
God,
baby,
I'm gonna
drill,
kiss your
because
ass.
that is your motto.
Turn your fucking mic on, Grandpa.
I am extremely confident, without a doubt, that the first day that we elect Mr. Donald J. Trump, our next president,
Where is he?
the first
Oh,
day
he's
in
there.
office, I guarantee you he will solve half of the problems. That
Really, half of them? Do you guarantee that? What are we talking about here, sir? What the fuck are you willing to put on the line for that, bitch?
It's not about
Come on
you
now.
and us.
Help me out.
It's about freedom and oppression, and this is the only man that I know that can
Really?
handle that.
Then
This
you
is the
don't know
only
very
man
many people.
that has survived, for the grace of God, things that we can never
Oh,
imagine.
it's the God thing.
And he
Sorry.
gets up and he says, fight,
Real
fight,
dangerous.
fight. I happen to be honored today.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yep. Kissy, kissy. Oh my God. They are standing up for a criminal. They are standing up. They are standing up for a man who literally sold secrets about our country that put
I
our
am
people
honored today
at
by
risk.
being surrounded by representatives of
Wow.
God on earth. And we have
Wow.
to pray. And I always would say,
Wow,
pray,
that's
pray,
some
pray,
powerful
but
drug.
Fight, fight, fight.
That's a
because
fucking
exactly
powerful
what we
drug.
need to do. Praying itself is not going to do it. We need to pray and fight.
There's
Now,
no
talking
God.
about
God isn't real.
the
I
economy,
really
this is very
hate to tell everybody, okay? God isn't
made
real.
us
I'm talking to, so.
energy independent. In just
We
a flick of
are
a finger.
energy independent, aren't
You can do
we?
it
Don't
again.
we have some
Now, here's
energy
the problem.
independence? Like, that's another thing. Nobody knows how
running our
anything
country who
works.
are
How are
totally
these people
economically
business
literate.
owners?
These people have never had a job. These people have never run a business. These people
What?
have never signed the front of a
Bullshit.
check.
I
Mr.
probably
Donald Trump
run just as big a
has done
P&L
all
as
of that,
you,
and
bitch.
he runs this country like a business, because after all, it's a business. You cannot keep printing money that you don't have to help people who
You don't
need
know
you,
how the economy
instead of
works,
taking
you
care
stupid
of
bitch.
your
Yeah.
own
Oh, by the way, the
neighbors
guy you're
here in
extolling
America.
raped a
That's
child.
why he will
At
make
least one that
America
we know
great
of.
again. And when he makes America great again,
Yeah, we're
he'll
at
make the
peak
whole
energy
world
production.
great
Stop
again.
it. Lies,
Because
lies, lies.
we need to be strong enough
What
to
do we
take
need
care
to
of our
be,
problems,
bitch?
and then we can go and help the people who need help.
Oh,
So
really?
thank you, Mr. President. Talking
So
about
you're
the
saying
American
go ahead?
dream.
Oh, okay. You're a
A young
Putin
boy
puppet?
came to
I
this
can't even
country
believe
when he was
this.
13, didn't even know the
Republicans are
language,
lost.
and one day he's sitting
You
in
are
a park
old. You are utterly lost.
hugging the best man, the President of the United States of America.
You
Thank very
fucking
much for
piece of
inviting me.
shit. Get the fuck out.
Thank you.
Oh, what a fucking piece of shit.
Mr. President,
Let me kiss your ass now.
And it's a misnomer that Latinos want open borders. We want a secure
Oh my
border
God.
like all Americans.
There aren't open borders, okay?
And we know what it leads to. Eduardo, who is the producer of Sound of Freedom,
Oh, it's Sound of Freedom. Oh, it's Eduardo, the guy from Sound of Freedom is there. The producer. Wasn't he brought up on charges of child
Well, first of all,
sexual?
thank you so much, President,
Wait a
for your
minute.
time.
Hold my beer.
My name is Eduardo Verástegui, and I am very grateful to this
Oh
nation
my
for
God.
opening the door to my dreams.
It is.
This nation has been such an amazing blessing in my life. God bless America. God bless Mexico, and God bless Hispanic America. And let's make America and Mexico, Hispanic America, great again. Together, pro-life again, healthy again, and free again.
Oh,
I
wait,
met
I
these
gotta
heroes
find this. I'll
10
find
years
it.
ago in Los Angeles,
Hold
California.
on, hold on, hold
Ex-Navy
on.
SEALs,
Here we go. Here we go. Here we
ex-CIA
go.
agents, and they travel around the world undercover rescuing children. And when they told me in details what they do, and how they rescue these children, my eyes were open. And I said, I'm a filmmaker. I wanna make a movie about this, because the first step to eradicate child trafficking is to raise awareness. Because if you don't know
Wait,
that
who's
this
the
problem
guy that
exists,
was part
how
of
you can
it?
fix
He's the one who ran for
So
president
I
of
made a promise to
Mexico,
God
too.
that I will dedicate my entire life
Yeah, this
to end
church is
child
really
trafficking,
weird.
to end child
Yes, he was
trafficking.
exposed.
Because
Yes.
God's children are not for
That's
sale.
what Yes.
Children are sacred.
Okay, hold on.
And I am very grateful
Okay, well, it
with you,
wasn't
Mr.
him.
President. Dear amigo, dear hermano.
Okay, I'm going to stop him for a second. So the allegations towards the filmmakers and creators of Sound of Freedom. This is from what is this from? Oh shit. Oh, Economic Times. Okay, this is an article from Economic Times about Sound of Freedom controversies. Post-release, serious allegations emerged against the creators, producers, and Tim Ballard. While Ballard denied QAnon connections, he faced accusations of sexual assault and misconduct. I think he's in trouble. I don't know what year this is. I'll check the date. During missions with Operation Underground Railroad, leading to his removal from the organization and excommunication from the Mormon Church. But producer Paul Hutchinson and film funder Fabian Marta, that's the guy I was thinking of, faced separate accusations of inappropriate behavior, including, this is a little more than inappropriate, okay? Can I just say that word is really doing some heavy lifting here, because including child kidnapping, although the charges were dropped and deemed a family misunderstanding. Well, of course they were. But then there was another one. I gotta get that. I thought there was another accusation. It might have been as part of the child kidnapping thing. And then they have the guy in the first row. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just fascinating to me.
Because
this guy
you
ran for president of
Travis
Mexico and, of course, got
house.
shut down. He's a conspiracy theorist.
Because of you endorsing Sound of Freedom. After that,
Ugh.
Sound of Freedom became
Did child trafficking go down, sir?
independent film in box office ever in history,
No,
produced
it
by a
didn't.
Mexican
Shut up.
producer.
You bought all your
Thank you for
theater
that.
showings.
Thank you for the
fucking
incredible
idiot.
hard work you're doing. Thank you for
That's
putting
a
the
lie.
children first.
That's a lie,
And
Eduardo.
that's why it's so important
That's a fucking
for the
lie.
media, for all Mexican Americans, Hispanic Americans, to vote for President Trump. And I know
Because
we will
he
win for the third
will support all of my
time. For the
movies.
third time.
I would like all my movies funded, please. And he
Yes.
is the one to do it.
Yes.
This is so
we will win for
gross.
the third time. And that's a fact. It's not an opinion. It's a fact.
No, it's
because
an
it's
opinion.
true.
Oh, it's most
Because it's
definitely an
true.
opinion. Oh, honey.
Look what is happening right now.
It's
look,
more
look
than
what
an-
is happening right now
Nothing.
with these evil people.
They're who?
Obama, Hillary, Kamala,
What?
Kamala.
What's she have to, what's the email lady have to do
Joe
with
Biden,
anything?
Sleepy Joe, all this team.
Who
There's
are
more
you?
Than 300,000 children. Over 300,000 children that they came through the border.
What do you
they
have to
released
do
them,
with anything?
And we don't know where they are. Kamala,
What?
where are the children? Kamala,
Stop
where
it.
are
That's,
the children?
None of that is true. None of it is true.
You know,
He's a Q nut.
these people, Kamala and
He's a-
Biden, they're the biggest human traffickers in the history.
Really? Oh, well, that's quite an accusation,
And
sir.
everyone knows that.
Oh, does
And that's why I'm
everyone?
here
I
to
don't.
give
I
my
beg to
100%
differ.
To support my dear friend, President Donald Trump. And again,
No.
we will win for the third time. God bless
Well,
you.
then now
God
you
bless
really
you, Mr.
lost
President.
me,
Thank
son
you. We
of
need
a
to put
bitch.
you in the White House back again.
Look at
in the beautiful White House. You're going to be in the beautiful White House again.
Yeah. That's right.
You bring up something that people don't talk about.
That's right.
The press doesn't talk about.
How much
I
Kamala
think if it
traffics
were on
children?
The other side, it would be one of the great scandals in history.
Which one?
It's actually 325,000
Oh,
children
okay. This is
are
the children
missing,
who are gone. Okay.
sex slaves, slaves.
Oh,
or
they
dead.
love talking
One
about
of those
child
four
and
things.
children and
Slaves,
sex. Okay.
slaves,
Every accusation is a
missing or
confession.
dead.
Yep.
And
If you're talking about
Three-
kids,
think
I'm
of
going
what
to talk. Yep. He
325,000,
just
you know, we
loves
say
to
it's
talk
a
about
number,
sex
blah,
with
blah, blah.
kids.
I was talking to a reporter before. I said 325,000.
Yeah. How many of
Oh,
those do you
what
think are
else is
having
new?
sex
So
right
going
now?
like, let's go to the next question. I'm saying to myself, can you believe it? A bad sort of a reporter. I told him he is. But think of it almost
That's
like,
a feeling.
you know, like.
Yeah. What
let's get
happened to
on with
those
the
kids
interview.
separated from their
Think of what
families?
325,000.
What about those
We have
kids?
religious leaders up here. Think of what 325,000. How many times can you fill a
Trafficked
nice
by
big
Betsy
stadium
DeVos,
like
yeah.
a Yankee Stadium with that 325,000? They're missing.
Wait a minute.
I think
Wait
many
a
of them are
minute.
dead, most of them.
Wait a minute. 325,000 is a Yankee Stadium? Did I just hear that right? Did I just hear that right? Did he say that Yankee Stadium could fit 325,000 people? Did I get that right? Okay, I'm just checking. He's disgusting. It's more than disgusting. But damn it, we're going to watch it. No.
Are dead. It's so sad.
He
Our
loves
country's
saying
so
this.
sad.
He loves it.
And then you wake up to the news that we've given the entire Israeli game plan To the
Okay,
enemy.
wait a minute. Okay,
Imagine this.
what?
Who could imagine this? I would say Israel's not too happy about that, right?
What happened here?
With all of this together,
What happened
added
here?
up, and I'm just so glad I bring it up, and it doesn't register. Maybe it registered better the way you said it, because you're such passion the way you said that. We are
Such passion
missing,
for how well your movie did.
during their regime, this.
Well, you're not in
stupid
prison,
person, this
so your
stupid
movie's
person
doing
that
pretty
was the
good.
border czar. She was made the border czar. Now
Yeah.
she said she wasn't. She was
Okay,
border czar
we're back at
3.5
we're
years, and now
looping.
she
We're
said
looping
no.
people.
Whether
Okay,
she is
wait.
or
I
not, she
need
was
to
in
understand
charge of
this.
the
So
border. That's
Israel
loud and clear. She never once
military
called the
plans
Border Patrol.
leaked. Oh,
The Border Patrol, by the way, 5 days ago endorsed me, which is something they're not even really supposed to do. And in endorsing me, they gave it a full-throated endorsement.
they are going to let you read it.
And endorsed me, they said how horrible she is. And it's not easy for them to say that. This is
It's not easy for them to say that. Yeah, okay. I'm going to read the article. Hold on. Bear with me. Yeah. Okay. Bloop. Oh, okay. Bloop. All right. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay, here we go. This is from the Washington Post. FBI investigating alleged leak of U.S. documents on Israeli war plan. It was a deep-throated. I know, sorry. He's doing his weave. I don't understand that. I think I must have missed that little bit that he started. I heard him say it yesterday, and I'm like, why is that a flex? I don't understand that. That sounds like not a flex. That sounds like, look at me. That's what that sounds like. Kid standing in the middle of the room singing. Female lawyer arguing didn't need heat. What? Okay, wait. Here we go. Top secret documents which surfaced on the Telegram messaging app contain U.S. intelligence on Israel's potential plans for a retaliatory attack on Iran. The FBI announced Tuesday that it's investigating an alleged leak of highly classified U.S. intelligence documents days after assessments containing information about Israel's potential plans for a retaliatory attack on Iran were published on an Iran-linked Telegram account. Roger Stone. I just have questions. I don't know why I said his name out loud. I just have questions. Don't tase me. The FBI is investigating the alleged leak of classified documents and is working closely with our partners in the Department of Defense and intelligence community, the FBI said in a statement. As this is an ongoing investigation, we have no further comment. White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby, who is really hot, told reporters on Monday that it is unclear whether the documents were made public through a leak or a hack. He said the government does not expect additional classified information to be made public without authorization. That sounds so confident. Early this month, Iran fired a barrage of nearly 200 ballistic missiles at Israel, a response to the killings of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran in July and Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah in Beirut in September. Tehran has been bracing for a retaliatory strike since then. Kirby said Monday that President Joe Biden is, quote, deeply concerned about any leak of classified materials. Quote, that is not supposed to happen, and it's unacceptable when it does, Kirby said. And you can rest assured that he will be actively monitoring the progress of the investigative effort to figure out how this happened, and obviously he'll be very interested in hearing any mitigation measures and recommendations that come as a result of the investigative efforts and how to prevent it from happening again. I don't know. Kirby said the Biden administration had been in communication with the Israeli government about the disclosure. They sound more recent. Am I wrong about that? It sounds more recent, so I'm not really sure what's going on. The intelligence assessment shows that the U.S. government believes that Israel is preparing a major strike against Iran that would be a retaliation for a massive Iranian ballistic missile attack on Israel on October 1st. The Biden administration has urged Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to carry out only a limited response that would not provoke yet another Iranian retaliation in a bid to avoid a regional war. U.S. officials have been pushing Netanyahu to focus on Iranian military targets, not Iran's energy infrastructure or sites related to its nuclear program, which would would be far more sensitive. Any attack on Iran's oil facilities could also roil the U.S. election on November 5th by creating a spike in energy prices. The leaked assessment focused on U.S. observations of Israeli airfield activity on Tuesday and Wednesday of last week that said it were consistent with exercises to engage in long-range strikes that involve air-to-air refueling, something that would be necessary if Israeli fighter jets were to launch strikes on Iran. The assessment also discussed the movement of munitions carts on Israeli airfields. 2 related documents were posted on the Telegram account, both dated Wednesday of last week. Oh, they did? Sorry, I didn't see that Axios thing. Oh, maybe I did see that. That's interesting. An Israeli official said the government doesn't consider the information revealed to have impact on its planning for possible actions against Iran, but the episode did raise concern about security. The content is not that significant, said the official, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive matters. The fact there was a leak is a lot more significant. Well, that's enough to interfere with the election. Yeah, exactly. If you somehow intimate that documents got out under their watch, that's impacting the election. The leak has unsettled the Biden administration, which remains jumpy. Jumpy? That sounds like a feeling. From previous significant intelligence disclosures, including a slew of classified documents posted last year on the Discord messaging platform. We take these types of things very seriously, very, very seriously, and we investigate things if there is any type of incident, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin told reporters Monday in Poland. He declined to comment about any specific investigation. Last year's disclosure on Discord involved hundreds of classified documents. A member of the Massachusetts Air National Guard, Jack Texera, 22, pled guilty in March to a raft of related charges, including willful retention and transmission of national defense information that the government had classified as top secret. The Air Force disciplined 15 other airmen in that case after a service investigation found that a lack of supervision and a culture of complacency in Texera's unit at Otis Air National Guard Base on Cape Cod played a role in the leak. Texera, who held a junior rank of enlisted airman first class, had significant access to classified systems and had been observed acting suspiciously a few times without appropriate authorities being alerted, the investigation found. One U.S. official said that although any intelligence leak is serious, the analysis that was published on the Iran-linked Telegram channel is likely to result in only limited diplomatic fallout, provided that no more material is released. That sounds interesting. What an interesting thing to say. Oh, when they separated. Yes, exactly. I mean, they are kind of talking about his dementia, but not in a, again, nothing that I think is going to sway any of his base. And maybe it'll sway undecideds, though. Who is undecided? I just don't get that. Analysis based on satellite imagery is inherently less sensitive than intercepted communications, information provided by spies burrowed inside foreign governments, or information shared by other countries with the U.S. intelligence community, the official said. Foreign governments know that the U.S. government has satellites that can do a good job of spotting just about anything that happens out in the open, the official said. The leaked analysis also contained no actual images, just text, limiting the public's ability to understand with precision the capabilities of U.S. spy satellites. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss internal considerations about the leak. I know. I mean, the Arnold Palmer stuff was really weird. It was definitely really weird. I mean, there's kids in that audience, and not that, I don't really care about sexy stories. I mean, I think whatever. But you're portraying yourself as someone who wants to be appropriate with children and save the children and the children. And, so stop telling stories in front of children that you don't think children should hear. I don't know. That's grooming. I think that's actually the grooming. Foreign governments know that the U.S. government has satellites that can do a good job. The leaked analysis also contained no actual images, just text, limiting the public's ability to understand with precision the capabilities of U.S. spy satellites. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss internal considerations about the leak. A spokeswoman for the Office of Director of National Intelligence declined to comment. Any investigation of a leak of this type will start with the originating agency, in this case, the Defense Department's National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, which is charged with operating the intelligence community's spy satellites, and then work outward in concentric circles of who would have access to the classified document. Even if the leaked assessment is based primarily on satellite imagery, it still offers a window into an unusually candid discussion of the U.S. intelligence community's attitudes toward Israel, one former analyst said. And in saying that there are no indications that Israel intends to use a nuclear weapon against Iran, it contains a rare acknowledgement of Israel's nuclear weapons program, which neither the United States nor the Israeli government has ever acknowledged publicly. The leaked assessment demonstrates how closely the intelligence community monitors Israeli military activity, said Harrison Mann, a former analyst with the Defense Intelligence Agency who resigned to protest the Biden administration's support for Israel's war in Gaza. It's a reminder that the administration does not actually trust Israel to share plans and major operations ahead of time. It demonstrates that the U.S. government acknowledges and monitors Israel's nuclear forces. Mann also noted that the assessment shows that analysts apparently use satellite imagery to track a dolly, a cart used to transport missiles that's about half as long and half as wide as a sedan, for long enough to infer that a specific type of missile was about to be loaded on Israeli fighters. All right. Interesting. All right, kids. Well, we're just about reaching the 3-hour mark, and as with all good things, this too must come to an end. Yeah, we're going to remove him. It's peace and quiet here on the Lolo Show. Where's my frickin'... Oh, sorry. I just wanted to get the lies off the screen. That was kind of bold and in your face. In your face. Wow. Well, this was good. I'm so glad to be back. I'm so sorry about yesterday and ending. My finger is better. Thank you so much for all of you home remedy people. You all did something that helped my finger get better, and I truly, truly appreciate it because I burned my finger yesterday, but it's all fine now. Thanks to you all. No, thank you. And thanks for all the links, all the input, all the heads up, oh my gosh. You guys make the show. Like, you have to know this is such a collaboration. So I'm really grateful to everyone who shares such wonderful links. And I'll update all the links that I have in today's description, along with something we didn't get to, but I do want to, try and get to every day, which is Gal's 5GW and her daily dose. So I'll link the daily dose for today in the description, along with all the stuff that we read and even things we watched. And then we'll go from there. But thank you all so much. It was so great to be back with you today. And I'll be back tomorrow morning with the same old shit. And yeah, there might be something this afternoon. God knows. I don't even know. I don't know. But anyways. All right. Everybody have a great, what is it, Tuesday? Yeah, have a great Tuesday. And I will see you later. Thanks again. I appreciate it.